Yeah. So I'm pretty sure there's only one court date left. So this is probably only going to take an hour, maybe a little bit more if I get stumped, which will happen. Or if there's another court day slash whatever's. We'll see. But I stopped yesterday right before the trial because I thought the investigation would be quick. The investigation was, in fact, not quick. So I'm going to be doing this first. This might be short, this might be long, we will see. We're gonna get right into it. Are you ready, chat? Now, some people might have not had time to catch up with the previous VOD, so I'll do a quick summary if anyone cares. Basically what happened was I proved Alice innocent in one case, and the result of her alibi made her a suspect for a different case. That case being Phantoms were stolen from the Sanzu River, and they made their way into dolls somehow. How does this all work? I don't know. Shinigami have some kind of like schedule to follow. There's a stone stacking. Like, there's a lot of details I don't fully understand myself. I was kind of out of it. So hopefully I'll be able to figure it out while I play the game. But basically what's going on is there's another incident that happened, and Alice is the prime suspect there. And it involves souls being stolen and possessing dolls. That's about it, really. Here I was thinking I'd be beaten to the punch yesterday. Well, technically you were. It's just that in the end, Alice was arrested again immediately after. But you pulled off such a huge turnaround win last time, Miss Tenchi. I know you can do it again today. I've been watching Aya's trials for a long time now, so now that I've seen what you can do, I'm sure of it. If it's the veteran lawyer's veteran assistant saying so, I suppose I can be at ease. But Lady Aki has gone and taken Reimu for her sermon. Will she return in time for the hearing? Oh, so that trial's concluded. Who can say? We're talking about Reimu, who hates being told what to do more than anything. I wonder if she can outlast the Yama's patience. If you've got room to worry about others, I don't want to hear that from someone who's one of the only concerned is how newsworthy this trial will be. I guess you got me there. What a crowded lobby we have today. Oh, the leading lady makes her appearance. Pretty sure Aya has gotten Alice convicted of a crime at least once. Miss Alice, I feel sorry about yesterday. Sorry about what? You all went through so much to prove your innocence. But then, from the very beginning I knew this would happen. When I first set foot on the bank of the Sanzu River, I was terrified I would become a suspect, so I worried myself sick shutting that secret away in my heart. But things are different now. Tenchi will believe in me and defend me. And so, I have no reason to feel sorry for myself. Alice. I'm not afraid of anything anymore, since I'm not alone. Don't you start setting off death flags now. Hopefully it's just my imagination. Well then, tonight I'll be watching you at work one more time, Tenchi. I want to see with my own eyes how this all ends. Be my guest, but when you tell me all about it in your paper, it had better be the best story you ever wrote. You can leave that to me. And now, we'll get out of your way. Goodbye. What is the Hakurei Summer Festival? Is that Rei Taisei? I know Comic-Con is soon. Yeah, I don't know what that event is. But I can't, odds are I cannot participate in any meaningful way, so I'm just gonna pretend I didn't know it's a thing. Alice, you remember the first promise we made? About your reward, you mean? Yes, there's something I really want from you. Is that alright? If it's within my power, anything is fine. Then will you make a doll for me? A really cute one. Oh no, this is a surprise. I didn't picture you as the sort who'd enjoy playing with dolls. That doesn't matter. Anyway, it's a promise. I understand. It's a promise. Then defeat is no longer an option, Lady Hinanai. It never was. I didn't consider losing from the start. Mei-Ling, I don't know how you intend to fight me. But too bad, I can't be handing anyone a win today. Not this time. I like how chivalrous Iku is. You know what I mean? Now, it might just be the way that I like, you know, voice her, but I like to think she's very chivalrous in this this game. They have little Yukari keychains. Oh, that's cute. But you know, if they're at convention in person, then I can't fly across the world to get one. It's kind of a shame. As of this moment, court is now in session for the trial of Alice Margadroid. I am prepared. The prosecution is ready, willing, and able. Whew, somebody's enthusiastic. This game is very Ace Attorney, yeah. It actually sparked my my nostalgia, and I started playing the original Ace Attorney again myself. I've beaten the first 2 games, and I'm on the last case of the 3rd game. I plan to go to Investigations next, because I never actually played Investigations 2. Then I'm gonna go to Apollo, and then I'm probably gonna fish out my 3DS and play the 5th game, which I actually don't remember the name of, and then Spirit of Justice, and then I have to play a Great Ace Attorney, which I can play that. I can play the games all pretty easily, I believe. But yeah, I'm currently on 1 case left in the original trilogy. I brought the HD collection on Steam some time ago. Some of the achievements in that game are whack. Just fucking whack. Very good. In that case, it's up to the prosecution to open the debate, if you please. Yes. Before 9 o'clock yesterday morning, a kidnapping of souls took place by the Sanzu River. With no witnesses of the incident, the investigation was rough going, but we discovered in yesterday's trial that the defendant was present at the scene. In addition, the kidnapped souls were found inside dolls belonging to her deep inside the Forest of Magic. Going by the above, we are indicating Alice Margadroid as the 2 culprit in this crime. So the Ace Attorney games, their achievements are basically just beat the game, beat the case, but some of them are also essentially like exhaust dialogue options. Let me share with you some of the best achievements for Ace Attorney. Alright. Where is it? Here's some of the achievements for the game. I have 17 out of 30. Alright, so the achievements obviously clear chapter 1, clear chapter 2, whatever. And then you have one that says, like, press gumshoe about, they were even talking about marriage. Reply with Lotta hair when talking to Lotta. Here's one, learn all of Armstrong's fancy foreign words. And here's the fucking best one. Here's the absolute best achievement in the entirety of the Ace Attorney HD collection. It's called Ladders versus Stepladders. Get every ladder versus stepladder conversation in Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney trilogy. That's an achievement. Exhaust all of the dialogue of ladders versus stepladders. But yeah, a lot of these are just like present a certain profile, press. I got a few by accident. The first one I got by accident was in the Justice for All episode 4. Judge Wagner. It gave me that. I was like, what the fuck is that achievement? Anyway, so half of the achievements in the game are nonsense. Absolute fucking nonsense. So they at least tell you where to go to like get them, at least. But that ladders one just says the whole game. Get every ladder conversation throughout the entire game. Like, bro. What do I even do? What? Oh, what? Quite a clear outline. Thank you very much. Honestly, it's like everything I proved yesterday has come back to haunt me. With that said, the prosecution may summon their first witness. And please come to the stand, Miss Sakuya. You mean you are summoning Sakuya Izayoi? But she was not taking charge of the Godstone. Was she not taking charge of the Godstone case at the Hakode Shrine? After the trial for the Godstone incident started today, Sakuya joined our investigation. I'm sorry to say that no fresh evidence was discovered, but we should still see her report to properly establish the events of that day. Understood. I approve. Let Sakuya Izayoi come to the stand. There she is. Excuse me for asking, but can you tell us your name and occupation? Sakuya Izayoi, I am here today as a detective. Then, as it seems likely we'll be pressed for time today, please begin your testimony without delay. Certainly. Alright, here we go, chat. Informations. I should have got myself a drink of water. Oh, shit. The incident occurred a little before 9 o'clock in the morning yesterday by the Sanzu River. Several of the souls awaiting transit on the Shigan side of the river were abducted by someone and disappeared. At the time of the incident, all Shinigami on ferry duty were scheduled to be on Higan's side, so there was not a single witness to kidnapping. the defendant went to the Sans River that morning, and it was also with her dolls that the missing souls were discovered. She was arrested as their kidnapper. Chat, hold on. I had salty food for lunch, so I gotta get some water. I'll be right back. Man, that just reminded me. I was gonna have a turkey burger last night, but I got the shelf life wrong. I was off by a day, and I went to cook it. I pulled it out of its wrapping, and I looked at it. I was like, it looks fine. I smelt it. Ew. Ew. So my turkey burger disappeared, and lo and behold, that was like the only thing I had to eat today, or like yesterday. So I didn't really get to. I didn't really eat last night. Whoops. Well, you know what they say, a little pain, a little gain. As you said, it appears no new facts have come to light. I apologize, we follow up thoroughly on every lead we found, and yet. Do not blame yourselves. I've also carried out an investigation of my own and discovered nothing new. It seems this is all we will find out. It's tough. Even now, we still know far too little about that incident. Chad, it's almost August. Oh boy. It does feel as though nothing we can ask will net us any new information this time. In that event, it will be up to me to present a possibility no one else has found. But is that truly something you can do? Of course, it won't be easy, and I can't say for certain if it can even be done. But if I want to help Alice, then I have to do it. I like the gleaming you have in your eyes, Lady Hinanai. To be quite honest, I think it is absolutely impossible, but when I look into those eyes, I feel otherwise. For the young heiress of Hinanai, nothing is impossible. I believe in you. Dread the winter? I don't dread the winter for the winter. Thank you, Iku. I won't ever fall short of that claim. Let's seek it out, a ray I hope we can chase after. I have a lot of things that I need to, like, you know, organize, and sometimes it's a lot to do all at one time, so I try to split it up, but as each day gets closer and closer, it's like, well, fuck, do I have it all in time? And basically, until the day actually comes and goes, I'm not gonna be worried about it, you know? This is the stress. This is the stress of everyday life. But things have been going quite swimmingly, so I'm not too worried. But you know, there's always something or other that can go wrong and make me have to improvise on the spot, and that causes a headache. But you said there were no witnesses. How can you be so certain of the time? It's because there was a 10-minute window at the time during which no Shinigami were on the side of a river, which is when the crime must have been committed. Right now, I'm currently focused on one thing that I have to do, and I have 13 days to do it. So that's gonna be my main focus. Once that's taken care of, I will figure out more things further in. I just, you know, sometimes I get ideas, but they come really late, so I have to act on them fast. And thankfully, the progress is being made, but I do lose time. I lose time to work on these things when I don't have the ability to currently work on them. Yama, is that all correct? But at the very least, right now, as long as I like, you know, work overtime, so to speak, I should be able to hit my deadline. It is. There's no doubting that. As expected, nothing new has come up. Several of the souls awaiting transit on the Shigan side of the river were abducted by someone and disappeared. A kidnapping of souls, you've been calling it. That's right. It's quite unprecedented, or so I hear. Because carrying off souls is easier said than done, isn't it? They are beings without substance. At the very least, they cannot simply be grabbed by hand. You know what that reminds me of, chat? So I had a few dreams over the week, and I wrote them down. So one of them is actually really long, so I'm not going to read it right now. I'll read it later. But I had a dream last night, and I wrote one sentence down. One sentence. This was the only thing. Like, I have a massive write-up of a dream I had like 3 days ago, and then after it, I have literally 2 sentences of a dream I had just last night. Here it is. Are you ready? Lego Affleck that spins around and looks like Koishi plays the Amogus noise. That's it. That was the dream. Now, granted, there was probably some other things in the dream, but that was the only thing I felt was worth writing down in my journal. A Lego Affleck, and when you spin it around, it looks like Koishi, and then it plays the Amogus noise, and I was like, neat. And then I woke up. They're beings without substance. At the very least, they cannot simply be grabbed by hand. So the perpetrator couldn't be just anybody. And the defendant is one of the few people to have skills suited for trapping souls. That alone is ample reason to suspect her. So you really can do it if you try, Mei-Ling. Chat, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not even sure what an Affleck is. I only know the term Affleck because of M1 and the fucking the Yuyiko skit. I don't actually know what an Affleck is, but for some reason I was 100% like dead certain that what I saw in my dream was an Affleck. I was 1000% sure that that's what it was. And then I spun it around and it looked like Koishi. No, it's the fucking in the Yomu Yuyiko skit in, I think it's the 3rd M1, where she starts picking popcorn off the ground and Yomu yells at her and she turns around and she goes, Affleck, you know, there's a Franker face emote of it, when she makes the face. And we also got Quackuma, who's doing the same face. She says Affleck. I don't know why. And she just has that fucking face. There wasn't a single person around. You're certain of this. Yes, we exhausted every possible avenue to no avail. So we'll just have to give up on that angle. But if there's no evidence that absolves Alice, witnesses are the only thing I can turn to. Still, the culprit aimed for the time when all Shinigami would be away due to their schedule, so it seems rather hopeless, doesn't it? Because of the schedule. Isn't that right? What is the matter, Lady Hinanai? No, I was only thinking. If a Shinigami wasn't following the schedule, they might have witnessed the crime. That may be so, but would they not have come forward as a witness in that case? But that would mean admitting to disobeying orders. If they didn't want to do that, they might keep quiet. Still, even if someone was playing truant, there's no way for us to know. Still, if we could show somebody was slacking, I wonder. And it's on these grounds you claim Alice is the culprit. That is the extent of it so far. Can you really call something like that conclusive? It's true without a doubt that the defendant was at the scene of the crime that morning. On top of that, the missing souls were recovered from her property. And as far as ways for kidnapped souls go, there aren't that many of them. In other words, the defendant is one of the few people who could have pulled it off. So as things stand, the only one who fits all the criteria to be the culprit is Alice. Isn't that enough? Indeed. As for myself, I see no reason to object to the prosecution's claims. But what of the defense? I also have no objection at the time. Chat, tomorrow's Saturday, right? Hold on. Hold on, I gotta like check my calendar real quick. I'm having a tomorrow's Saturday, the 30th, yep. Evo is 6th and 7th, okay. Alright. Cause chat, I won't be streaming I basically won't be streaming. I won't be streaming 2 weekends from now. I'm having, well, not me, but the local regional for Smash is happening at my in my region on starts the 12th, 13th, and 14th. I'm not entering, but I am doing commentary, so I'm gonna be away from the stream for the weekend, that coming weekend. For anyone who cares, just letting you know. I just signed up for commentary and I'll be doing that for them. That's all. I completely forgot to mention that, but yeah. Obviously, I'll mention it again closer, but I will be away for a weekend. Not that I stream on Sunday anyway. I fucked up my mouse. Oh, god damn it. Hold on. Oh, that's not getting fixed. Well, alright. Who cares? Whatever. Lady, how is it, Lady Heen and I? He's dead. Alright? He's dead. I killed him. I felt optimistic about this trial going in, but honestly, I was being naive. But you would never give up so easily, I hope. Of course not. I'll keep fighting until I save Alice. So, I guess the long and short is my schedule is a little packed up for the next little while, because after the... I'm hoping that... I will be doing a stream tomorrow, of course, but I think after that, I should have all the necessary preparations to begin work, and I will simply be, chat, I will simply be, you know, I'll be working. I might pop a stream in. I hate to do it like that. I like having a schedule because it helps other people. But like if I'm going to stream at all next week, it's probably going to be a little spontaneous and just like I need a break kind of deal. Because I really do need to work. But if I try to crunch this 24/7, I might explode. So you know, it might not even be that long a video, which wouldn't be bad for me. I kind of know what I want to do and what I have to do for it, so it probably won't be that bad. But the editing process can be so slow and boring and monotonous that it makes me want to scream. As it should be, Lady Heen and I. I'll find it for sure. The path to my turnabout. That's also why I want to play Left 4 Dead today, because odds are I won't be able to get really play much of it this coming week, and I really like that game. If I stream next week, the time won't really change. I'll try not to change the time frame, but like I just can't really promise I'll stream a day or not until like it's basically just if I feel like I really need a break from staring at my editing software. That's all. I'm sorry I'm not very clear on this because I don't know how it's gonna go either. But I promise you what I'm working on is something I want to work on, so I will work on it. But you said there were no witnesses. How can you be so certain at the time? It's because there was a 10-minute window at the time during which no Shinigami were on our river. The side of the crime had been committed. Alright. That's all correct. It is. There's no doubting that. As expected, nothing new came up. Okay. Yeah, so I've exhausted all the dialogue. Yeah. Now, the question is, I'm pretty sure it wants me to present the schedule. The souls were in transit, were abducted by someone and disappeared. At the time of the incident, see, I think it wants me to present the schedule and then I basically accuse Komachi of being a lazy bastard. But that doesn't seem to be the case. That last statement was clearly odd. Was it? But of course. Time of the incident. There's gotta be something here. There's not too many pieces of evidence, at the very least. So, unfortunately, I'm gonna be throwing my balls to the wall here. Because I'm not really sure what I need to do. Alright, hold on. I could have been paying a little more attention, I fully admit. The day that the number of souls across was less than the schedule called for. Right, I forgot about that detail. That's what I was forgetting. It's far too rash to be declaring that already. They might still be out there. Our witness. Ho? We've concluded that the defendant must be the culprit on the basis of the evidence. And that means if you want to insist that there was a witness, you have to present evidence of your own. Naturally, I was about to do just that. Eh? Yama, there was something you told me yourself earlier. At the time of the incident, the souls who had crossed over to Higan were fewer than you had expected. You know, actually, I've only ever imposed a deadline on myself once, and only once. And that was for Third Eye for Halloween. I had a fucking month to work on that, and I finished it with a few days to spare because I kept thinking about how much time I had left. So, yeah. And the photo game video chat, that video took forever because I was working on it so sporadically. It turned out well. I don't have a problem with it. It's just I had so many periods where I just didn't open my editing software at all. So it took a while for it to go. I upload very infrequently, and I apologize for that, but sometimes I just don't have anything to work on, or I'm working on something else. Yama, there was something you told me yourself earlier. The time of the incident, the souls who had crossed over to Higan were fewer than you had expected. That is certainly true, but is that related to this case in any way? It might be. How would you explain a shortage of souls in the first place? That is... My first thought would be that a Shinigami met with some difficulty. That's right. It would have to do with the Shinigami. Wait a minute, lawyer. What does the whole story have to do with that you've been talking about? Keep quiet and hear me out to the end before arguing. You're not Chirno, are you? If the souls in Higan are fewer than expected, that would suggest that some sort of issue arose among the Shinigami who ferry them over there. For instance, someone was shirking their work. Shirking their work? Yes, at the time of the incident, every Shinigami should have been on the Higan side of the river. However, if one of them wasn't keeping up the pace, they might have still been on the other shore, which would make them a witness. But if anyone had witnessed the incident, they would have stepped up a long time ago. Hypothetically speaking, if you had been that witness, would you have come forward? Eh? Well, if I was a witness to a crime, obviously that's what I'd have to do. And then Sakuya and the others would have to find out you weren't watching the gate, but that's fine, right? It'd be a bit of a problem, but still. By the way, the mistress said that if you slack off again, you'll be severely punished. I like how she delivers that line with a big old smile on her face. Please forgive me already. I rest my case. In order to keep their dereliction of duty from being exposed, a Shinigami had been keeping the truth from us. Order. I cannot deny that under these circumstances there may have been a witness after all. However, it's just wishful thinking. Way too reckless a gamble. Even if one of the Shinigami wasn't pulling their weight, there's no guarantee they ever saw anything. In the end, it's so unlikely it's not worth considering. Right, but this is the best kind of gamble for me. One where the odds of winning are slim to none. Dude, I swear, Phoenix is actually gonna die at the age of, like, his mid-40s with the amount of stress that goes through all of his trials. That man has shaved years off his life. I'm surprised he still has a full head of hair at his age. he's been through the ringer time and time again. Lady Hinanai, do you seriously intend to go through with this? Why the shock? There's nothing else left for us to try. If I don't take my shot here, there won't be any other path to victory. No matter how low they say my odds are, I have to take that bet and go all in. Now that it's come to this, there is one thing I must ask the defense first of all. This eyewitness you speak of, what is their name? Do you even need to ask? It's your bailiff standing right there. Order. Defense, can you explain on what grounds you make this claim? Just taking into account her whole attitude should be grounds enough. I certainly cannot deny that. What? Wait a sec, Lady Eiki. That's not right. As far as my own personal opinion is concerned, I believe the defense's claims are sensible. But as we have discussed earlier today, this is a place for fair and impartial judgment. I cannot allow you to question Komachi solely on the basis of preconceived notions. I knew it, Lady Eiki. You're so kind. Phoenix fell into a river that almost kills anyone who falls in and got a severe cold from it. He'll be fine. Yeah, and guess what? Dahlia Hearthrow fucking cannonballed into that shit when she was 14 years old, and she was A-okay as well. The Eagle River ain't shit. It ain't shit. Of course, if the defense does have proof, there will be no mercy for you. Erk. Why do you look so worried about this? Well, defense, They're built different. True, Dahlia Hawthorne is basically a demon in disguise. That woman is actually one of the most vile characters I've ever seen in fiction that doesn't involve like superpowers. Because Phoenix Wright, there's not really, I mean, there's supernatural powers, mind you. But Phoenix Wright, as far as it goes, there's not really any crazy superpowers. But that woman is, oh, holy shit, she is one vile lady. It's impressive how, like, awful she is. Well, Defense, as there is proof Komachi was slacking, can you present it? It's true that I do not have definitive proof, but we can clear up everything with a very simple inspection. Give me a break. I didn't do anything. You not doing anything is the problem here. Then do elaborate, Defense. What do you suggest we inspect to determine if Komachi was shirking her work? Cry! And what does this mean? Should it not be obvious at a glance? No. Nobody except you understands, I think. Honestly, you are all truly far too slow. This means that I've made a mistake! Then don't act so full of yourself. Maybe humility would have gone over better. That was a fantastic delivery. I love the failing events. You don't see them too often, but they're quite fun. They're quite fun. Well, if you don't have any proof I wasn't hard at work, then that's that. Absolutely not. I can prove it here and now. Then allow me to ask you again, Defense. And what does this mean? Should it not be obvious at a glance? Alright, I forget details. I put too much space between this case, so I'm missing details. Oh, that makes sense, actually. How much money she's collected. What is the meaning of this, Defense? Is that a bribe? In order for the schedule you set to work, standard fares and thus travel times had to be decided for the souls the Shinigami were to ferry over that morning. And therefore we can calculate how much a Shinigami who was following orders should have earned by the time of the incident. Ooh, stonks. Economics, baby. Economics. If that slacker really was working properly that morning, the fares she has on her should add up to that sum. Gut. Ferrying souls has been put on hold since the crime was discovered, so the fares you have with you should have been left as is since that morning. Now let's see them. Got her. Now then, can you provide an explanation, Komachi, for these clearly insufficient fares? It's cause, the truth is I lost them. Stop disgracing yourself and give it up. No, I seriously just lost them. Besides, have you got any proof I didn't lose the fares? What? As there be evidence like that. That's enough. At this rate, it'll be easy to just have you testify. What were you doing at the time of the incident? Fine by me, but I was just doing my job, exactly like I was supposed to, you know? It appears she won't learn a thing unless I knock some sense into her. Wrong side of the river. At the time everything went down, I was hard at work, so obviously I was over in Higan like everyone else. And because of that, there's no way I could have witnessed anything to do with the kidnapping, of course. And those fares, I just lost them somewhere, like I was saying earlier. So you're wasting your time listening to me, really. Oh, what a surprise. A chatterbox like you suddenly doesn't feel like chatting. I only like to talk about the stuff I want to talk about. How very self-centered. Just doing things the way you like with nobody to get in your way. That kind of free time when I'm not being held down by anybody is what's most precious to me. I understand perfectly. Each moment is like a treasure. Oh yeah, leisure is what makes people in yokai more than beasts. It'd be wrong for us to not enjoy it. These two get along swimmingly, I see. Big names from back in the day would say stuff like that. Our ancestors were truly wise, weren't they? Why don't you loafers try doing some work first? Defense, please begin your cross-examination post-haste that we may nip this beautiful friendship in the bud. You don't need to ask, I'll bring them in line. I only have to prove she was slacking somehow. Yeah, these two would get along well. At the time everything went down, I was hard at work. Obviously, I was over to Higon like everyone else. They ever talk about sleeping in the fighting games? Well, I think that's because they barely actually interact in the fighting games. Because Komachi's not in 7.5. Oh, well, Mei Ling isn't really either. Mei Ling's not in 10.5. And they're both in 12.3, but she's not involved in Mei Ling's story. And even if she wasn't, I'm forgetting it. All of Mei Ling's story is a dream. So it doesn't matter. And can you prove that? That might be a bit tough. I don't really meet with the other Shinigami much while I'm on the clock. And there's no way we can know for sure if you were truly at Higon, is there? I guess not, but I'm testifying, so even if I can't prove it, you gotta take my word for it, right? If you want to call me a liar, you're the one who's gonna have to show some proof. She's seen enough trials to know how this goes. You impudent little weasel! And because of that, there's no way I could have witnessed anything to do with the kidnapping, of course. So you truly never saw anything at all? You kidding me? How am I supposed to see anything if I wasn't there to see it? It's certainly true that I have got 2 eyes with which to behold all that goes on before me. However, that also means that what isn't reflected in these eyes goes unseen by yours truly. That's just how life is. And we really need a poem to explain this. And those fairs, I just lost them somewhere, like I was saying earlier. Chat, are there any characters in the games who have dialogue from in the fighting games that like actually reveals neat lore about them? Like, here's an example. So, did you know when Jun and Sumireko fight in 15.5, if Jun wins, Jun mentions, Jun makes a comment about Sumireko commenting on all of her accessories being off-brand, like fake bootlegs to like real brands. So, there's a possibility that all of Jun's accessories are like off-brand knockoffs. Based on that alone, which I thought was really interesting because like that's not really anything at all, but it's kind of neat to think that they had those characters would have that kind of conversation, and Sumireko would be the kind of character to know that since she's from the outside world, right? So the idea that Jun is wearing a bunch of like off-brand knockoffs is kind of funny to me, but you know because she tots around with all like the newest the pretty shiny brand pretty shiny jewelry, right? So it'd be kind of funny if she was wearing a bunch of fake stuff. It would actually kind of like, you know, that would kind of like emphasize her personality a little more, I suppose. Or I guess not emphasize, but that would kind of match who she is a bit more, you know? I like dialogue like that. It's very small, it's very slight, and honestly, it's very easy to miss. But sometimes you can open small little windows into a character's life. Just by those little exchanges. Do you lose your fares often? SWR win quotes involve Patchy discussing how the 5 elements apply to various characters, or Komachi commenting on what their weather means about them. Oh, really? Oh. I'd love to hear those actually. I know that Patchy isn't very fond of Onis for some reason. I'm pretty sure she chews Suika out in their after battle dialogues. Is there any way to read this dialogue? Because I would love to read fighting game exchanges like that. I could do like a tier list like the Omake stuff. But maybe not so much just like the wiki hasn't really. Yeah, I would love to read those because we could definitely do a smaller stream with just fighting game interactions, and we can learn some things about characters like that. I would like that. I would like a link to that for sure. If somebody can give me that. Just go on the games page and click on translation. Really? It's all just there? Yeah, I will definitely do that then in the future for sure, because that sounds like a lot of fun. The Omake streams were a lot of fun, and I learned a lot about characters as well. And if we could squeeze out a little bit of interesting little factoids about characters through their battle banter. And also, there are some instances where characters in those games interact with another character where they don't actually interact in canon, so it's kind of neat to see how they would interact with that character through this dialogue. Like, for example, Komachi versus, like, Utsu, for example. Those 2 characters are pretty much never going to meet in any actual circumstance, but in 12.3 they could have post-battle dialogue, in which case there would actually be an interaction between them that might be interesting. It might not be, but, you know, characters like that who had no grounds of ever meeting would be able to have banter, which is kind of cool. There's some neat stuff. All right, chat. I've discovered a new content farm, a win quote tier list. Yeah, I'll look into that. I will. Well, whenever I get in a fight, I throw them at people as Danmaku. So I guess you could say I lose them pretty often. The fairs, that is. That's some expensive Danmaku. I cannot say I approve of such wastefulness. Nah, but don't you think it's cool? Throwing money like a weapon? I told ya! Her and Jim would be good friends. I need a comeback, but I can't argue with that. Money, baby! It's fine to simply leave some things be, Lady Hinanai. There is no need to overdo it. See, even Tenchi agrees that fighting with money is sick. Right. So you're wasting your time listening to me, really. Eyes win against Chirno is cute. See, you're mentioning a few of them in chat, and I like that they're neat, but I gotta check them out when I get there, right? Don't spoil. There's not gonna be as much of them after all. Quite blunt. I just don't want us to waste each other's time, you know? Speak for yourself. If I'm going to be bored anyway, this is as good a way to kill time as any. If you're always so bored, how about you try dying? You might have more to do in your next life. I wouldn't particularly mind, but that'll only happen if a big, strong Shinigami comes to take me away. You're all so pathetic, I couldn't die even if I wanted to. Oh, is that a challenge? I'm game. That's not your job, Komachi. If you must kill each other, please do so once this is over. Resume the cross-examination. Isn't it fake money? No, it's not fake money. Just when things we're starting to get interesting. One worry comes to mind. What? Even if we show Miss Onozuka was behind schedule, is it certain she knows anything about the crime? Well, I can't guarantee that. If she truly did not have anything to do with this incident, I feel a bit sorry for hounding her like this. But still, she said she shouldn't have been slacking to begin with, right? Yes, that is true. Well, if this whole questioning proves entirely pointless, I'm the one who will be sorry. Alright, so I need to find something in here. It's hard at work, so obviously I wasn't able to Higan like everyone else. Because of that, no way I could have witnessed anything during the kidnapping, of course. As fair as I just lost him somewhere. So you're wasting your time listening to me. Let's review the evidence, shall we? So we got a few things, not the scarf. Komachi picked up the doll in the bank. A soul that was hiding inside. I think it might be the lost doll, but I'm not sure what statement it presented on. So let me try it. In the interest of all of our, sanity, let's see. Okay, I was correct. It was the lost doll. I just didn't know which one to present it on. So, you know, you might be a little upset right now that I'm not paying the most attention, but that's okay because I'm paying enough attention. Oh, fuck. Whoops. Wait a minute, what? No, that was the right one, wasn't it? What? Oh, okay. Okay, hold on. I messed up. Okay. Alright. I got it. You can dream about the way you wish things could have been all day, if you like, but that won't make it a reality. Isn't it about time you wake up and face the music? I've been awake this whole time, and I don't turn my eyes away from reality either. Then you were saying this doll is a shared dream of ours? That's... You told this to me yourself. You picked up this doll yesterday morning, at exactly the time of the incident, didn't you say? Now explain yourself. How could you let it happen if you were working properly? No, seriously. You keep saying dumb stuff. I was on the other side then, so I picked this up in Higan. That's all there is to it. Haven't you forgotten something important? Important? Unlike you Shinigami, living beings like us can't cross the Sanzu River. And yet you say you picked up this doll in Higan? That can't be! Unless Alice has been dead this whole time! It seems all this talk of being in Higan was a lie. No! You got it all wrong! However, it would have been impossible for Alice to lose this doll in Higan. Sure, but I'm not the only Shinigami to go to and from both sides of the Sanzu. I definitely picked this doll up in Higan. Must be some other Shinigami brought it over and dumped it there. You're just making excuses! But if you can't deny that possibility, then you can't say that it's not what really happened. While it does sound very unlikely, it certainly isn't impossible. No matter how you look at it, this has to be the flimsiest excuse I've ever heard. Then you need only smash it to bits. At least I would hope Miss Onizuka's desperate flailing will not suffice to fend you off, Lady Hinanai. Right. Well said, Iku. How about it, defense? Will you admit Komachi's claim? You must be kidding. Who would ever accept such a pathetic excuse? But if you can't deny it... Who says I can't? Eh? There's no way! Now then, proving where this doll was picked up is key to proving that where that Shinigami was, and if I want to refute her claim, I need to show it as impossible for that doll to have ever been in Higan. But funnily enough, I can do both in one swoop, with evidence the Yama personally certified, no less. Now then, it is up to the defense to present evidence. Can you prove this doll could not have been brought to Higan by another Shinigami? I can. The answer was in the doll itself, literally. What the heck are you talking about now? There is one major problem with this doll, and it is proof that it was never on the Higan side of the river. Well, that's interesting. Let's hear it then. What's so special about this doll? It's one of Alice's dolls. It fell in the Sanzu River. A soul was hiding inside the doll. Do you remember, Yama? A lost soul was hidden within this doll. Ah, that is true. I remember it well. And the goal of all souls is to cross the Sanzu River. That was what you said, wasn't it? That is correct, yes. So if that doll had crossed over to the river at any point, why did the soul not leave the doll to stay in Higan? What? If that soul possessed this doll in order to sneak into Higan, it would have abandoned its vessel when it got there. In other words, this doll was never in Higan. No, wait a minute. The soul could have hitched a ride after I picked up that doll. Even if that were the case, it would be gross negligence on your part to overlook a potential stowaway like this. That's so heartless. How about it? Will you come clean? Man, the art in this game is really good. I know I've said that multiple times throughout the course of these games, but it just has it really hits it, you know? I don't know how to best explain it. Like, you just look at the art, it hits all the right spots. It's good art. And I love the expression work on it. The expression work is very good. Tenchi looks fantastic in this expression right now. It really is great art in this game, and it has been since the beginning. Or will you make up some new excuse to play with me? Why not? Let's go another round, princess. So you intend to go on making excuses? Calling them excuses makes it sound so awful. This here is going to be a proper rebuttal. For now, let me be the judge of that. Sure. I don't mind one bit. She's having fun. It's true I might have found that doll on the living side, I'll admit that. And I did tell you it was a bit before 9 when I found it, but who knows if that matches up with the moment of the crime exactly. When some of us Shinigami crossed back to Shigan and found our souls were missing, it was just before 9. If I picked this little gal up back then there ain't anything else to say about it, am I right? Now, I definitely am gonna have to present that stone stack. Rather than testifying, it sounds more like she's spoiling for a fight. Perhaps because she is feeling cornered. Now, Komachi, are you prepared for cross-examination? Why are you asking me? Because I, for one, am already entirely prepared to crush all your claims. Cut me some slack already. Today it's just going from bad to worse. Alright. Let's get it. And why didn't you say that from the beginning? Because I didn't want to be made out to be some slacker like you're doing now. Then perhaps you should correct your usual behavior. Come on now, don't be so stern. So you still won't admit that you were shrieking work then? Of course not, because I wasn't slacking. And I did tell you it was a bit before 9 when I found it, but who knows if that matches up with the moment of the crime exactly. But didn't the incident happen a bit before 9 too? Words are funny like that, especially words like a bit. For you, 1 hour might be too much for a bit of time, but it might just be a bit for me. But should I say rest for a bit? 1 hour is clearly not what I meant. Well, compared to the length of my shifts. 1 hour is not a bit. Yes. But even then, I'm sure not even you would say it's a bit before 9 at 8 o'clock. When some of us Shinigami crossed back to Shigan and found out souls were missing, it was just before 9. Is that the truth? If you doubt me, you can just check the timetable. As she says, following the schedule will put her on the living shore shortly before 9 o'clock. But it's almost 9 when you picked up this doll. That sounds about right. If that's true, then there are no more contradictions. If I picked this little gal up back then there ain't anything else to say about it, am I right? Only if your testimony is the whole truth. Well, that's the 1,000 question, isn't it? But in court, evidence is everything. If you want to say Komachi is lying, you'll need evidence to back it up. I understand that, but I don't have anything to strike back with here. Then perhaps you should try and draw out more details. Right? I wonder what I should ask. Ask where the doll was found, ask when the doll was found. Can you tell us more about where you found the doll? It was on the bank of the Sanzu. No, I know that. Can't you tell us anything more specific? I getcha, but there ain't much to look at over there. Ah, no, I guess there was one thing. Then add it to your testimony. Roger, I found the doll near a stone tower, although it'd been knocked over by then. Oh, there it is, chat. There it is. A stone tower. Sometimes the souls of little kids stack stones on the river beach, and sure enough, somebody was making a tower over there yesterday morning. Come to think of it, the Yama said as much about that kid she was preaching to today. But it looked like at some point it got knocked over, and the doll was lying near the remains. You do not know why it collapsed. That's right. It must have happened while I was away. But sounds like important testimony. Only further slippery excuses. Right? When it comes to skipping work, this one's in a class of her own. If she turned an effort towards something constructive, she might not draw others' ears so often. I suppose all earthly beings are flawed in their own way. I believe the word ironic has never been more fitting. Maybe so. Well, being ironic suits me just fine. However, the greatest irony here lies in your own lines, Lady Hinanai. Somehow I feel like I'm being mocked. Iku's not shy about taking pot shots, that's for sure. Oh. A stone tower in the stone ocean. Ah, you finally given yourself away. I did what now? Yama, you remember the stone stack we talked about, don't you? About when that child piled up that stone tower, and when it was destroyed? Yes, it was while no Shinigami... Ah! Exactly. The kid stacked up stones while no Shinigami were around, and someone knocked them over before any Shinigami returned. In other words, had you been following your schedule, you wouldn't have seen any stone stack. What? On the day of the incident, you saw a stack of stones, and that would mean that at the time of the crime, you were at the scene. Wait up! I just saw the remains of a stone tower. There are uncountable stones scattered on the riverbank. How could you know if one bunch of rocks had been a tower? Kian. It seems you have much to explain, Komachi. How did you witness any stone stacking if you were working properly? It's 'cause, enough. A slug like you is just sickening to look at. When did you lose all your guts? Just confess already, you lazy bastard. Wow. Alright, chill. I'm sorry. So you were on the Shigan side at the time of the crime, weren't you? Yeah, I was. Then did you witness anything about the kidnapping? It's... how do I put it? I watched it happen. What? I saw the whole thing from beginning to end. I saw it all. Are you serious? Why is this detail new? Order! Komachi, Do you mean to say you've been hiding the truth this whole time? I'm sorry. I didn't want anybody to find out how bad I messed up. Lady Aki, after the incident, you were so high-strung, I didn't know how to even get started talking about it. So I figured I could just sort everything out myself. Nobody'd ever have to know. I can't believe this. However, if you caught the culprit in the act, should you not have apprehended them then and there? It's 'cause it hit me that if I did, I'd have to explain how I'd been slacking all morning. And all of a sudden, I had no idea how to handle it. Honestly, what will we do with you? I'm sorry. Anyway, if you saw the whole thing, then you know who the culprit is, don't you? Yeah, of course. I saw him. The culprit. Who in blazes was it? The one I saw was... Medicine Melancholy. That doll. That can't be! What? What a twist! What? When the true culprit's name was spoken, all of a sudden a ripple went through the gallery. The commotion couldn't be stilled, and a recess was declared, and we all stepped out of the court. Medicine Melancholy. If Komachi is to be believed, she's the prey I must hunt down. But she was the victim in the original case. What a topsy-turvy turn of events this one was. Everyone believed it was a losing gamble, but you pried a path open in the end. Just as I thought, you truly have the devil's own luck, Lady Hinanai. Well, people don't call me the delinquent celestial for nothing. I'm so sorry. Really, I don't know what to say. If I'd done the right thing to begin with, Alice wouldn't have gone through with this. Had to go through this. It's fine. Late or not, you told the truth in the end. There's hope for us where there wasn't before. You're way too kind. It's pretty much my fault that you've been locked up. What are you saying? Aren't you the sole witness? Because of you, a suspect other than me was found. I'm more grateful than anything. Alice. However, is the incident not resolved now with Miss Onozuka's testimony? Unfortunately, I don't think it will be that simple. Why? You should know, you lied again and again in court. Add your reputation on top of it, and your credibility as a witness is basically non-existent now. No way! On top of it, you have a convincing motive for perjury. Whatever do you mean? Now that it has been proven she was shirking her work, that Shinigami has been backed into a corner. So in a desperate attempt to save face, she's pretending to have been a witness after all, to be helpful. She just said a believable name that came to her head, while I in charge of the prosecution. Were I in charge of the prosecution, that's the sort of smears I'd turn to defend this off. As you would expect, it sounds quite convincing when a former prosecutor says it. She's actually got a point, you know. Oh no, and it's really my fault that Alice... Sadly, in all honesty, what you've been doing has only helped to corner Alice. Even if you are the only witness, your testimony can't be trusted at all now. Painful, isn't it? Don't worry, Komachi. I know you were telling the truth. After all, I know for a fact I am not the culprit. But that won't mean anything to them. And if, as Tenchi was saying, you were only telling more lies to try and cover for yourself, you would have been accused me before anyone else. Even though I was at an overwhelming disadvantage, you didn't attempt to save yourself by turning on me. And that alone is enough to make me believe in you. True enough, it's as Alice says, if all you wanted was to save face, you'd name the obvious culprit. You wouldn't accuse someone whose name hasn't even come up once today. It seems you're much better suited to be a defense attorney than I am, Alice. You give me too much credit. All I'm doing is looking for the silver lining. Alice, I'm really sorry. For the time being, seeing as you're the only witness, please tell me everything you know in full. I don't think this recess is going to last much longer. Gotcha. So at this time, I'd skipped a crossing and was just strolling down the shoreline. I noticed the kid's soul stacking stones on the beach, but I figured I'd just leave it be. Why would you do that? Well, it doesn't bother anyone, does it? If piling up rocks makes him feel better, I say let him. Anyway, I kept wandering around after that, and that was when I saw that medicine doll. I thought I'd call out to her, but when I got close enough, I was shocked silent. She had her arms full of dolls, and she was going around luring souls into them. After a little bit, Medicine noticed I was watching her, and she took off running in a panic. I should have gone after her, but if you did bring her in, you'd still have to explain why you were on the wrong shore to begin with. Once I started thinking about that, I just froze up. When I got a grip, there wasn't any sign of her left. I couldn't bring myself to tell the others and Lady Aki that I watched somebody carry off a bunch of souls and let them get away, so I just walked around in a daze. I ended up back where I saw that stone stack a while ago, but the tower wasn't there anymore. Apparently something broke it in the meantime, but there was a doll there now. And this is the one Miss Alice's dolls, without a doubt. How curious. What is it? Komachi, all this happened before 9 o'clock. It was before all the other Shinigami came back, yeah. But it was certainly at the stroke of 9 that I made it to the Sanzu the river that day. Eh? Then that doll, it could not have been dropped there by me. Furthermore, that doll is in blue clothes. Come to think of it, all the dolls in blue were stolen, weren't they? Then the ones who dropped this doll was the culprit. They would have been on the one who stole my dolls, at least. And you're certain it was at 9 that you arrived at the scene. There's no doubt about it. When I arrived at the Sanzu, the Shinigami had already begun their investigation. The air was thick with tension. When I heard the souls had disappeared, I realized what my dolls might have been used to do, so I fled the scene at once. Then you weren't there very long at all. Correct, and on my way back I bumped into Patchouli, as you well know. According to Miss Patchouli's account, this took place just after 9 o'clock, and at the same time the demon doll was attacked in the Forest of Magic. Taking it all into account, my visit to the Sanzu River was definitely at 9, but we can't prove any of this. And that is the sore point. Alright, I got it. I'm gonna find you some proof, whatever it takes. Eh? Whatever do you mean? I've made a lot of trouble for Alice and everyone else, but even then Alice won't blame me for it. So the way I see it, standing around here crying about how sorry I am ain't gonna do any good. I want to make it up to you all the way any way I can, and that's why I'm gonna find you some evidence for sure. But the trial is going to resume any second now. I know that. I know I'm just getting worked up on my own, and I know it might not turn out the way I want, but I want to at least do something. Miss Komachi, you can do as you like. I'll be settling accounts with that demon doll in court presently. And so, if you feel like you still have debts of your own, settle them in your own way. Thanks. I'm gonna do just that. Now then, it's almost time. Yes, so it is. This battle ends today, one way or the other. Please win, Tenchi. I have faith in you. There's no need to worry. As long as you believe in me, I won't be defeated. Right. You know, speaking of Kasen and Komachi, I actually really like their character dynamic in Wildhorn Hermit, but I feel like it dissolved kind of abruptly, and then those two stopped having interactions with each other. I like that Komachi did come back in the end, at the very least, but you know, I appreciated their back and forth, but there is like they really kind of just stopped showing them after a certain point, which is kind of a shame. Komachi's a great character, and I like her a lot, so I like seeing her show up in things, but she's not utilized very much. We will now resume the hearing. Prosecution, have all your arrangements been made? We're ready, but the witness is a lot more venomous than she was yesterday. Well, there was nothing we can do about that. Whew, seems tonight will be as stormy from the outset. The witness may now enter the courtroom. Ooh, she's angry. Well then, witness, your name and occupation. Medicine Melancholy. I am a doll. That's also not an occupation. Now, witness, do you understand why you have been called here? Oh yes, it seems someone has been slandering me. Well, no one will tell me anything else, so I have no idea what sort of scum would do such a thing. Have you not been keeping up with today's trial? Did I ever read the unofficial follow-up of the artist? You mean the epilogue that came out in like 2020? If that's what you mean, then I did read that, yes. I did read that. Unless something new came out afterwards. I did read the additional epilogue that came out after the final chapter. Have you not been keeping up with today's trial? No. After going through some police questioning at the Vampire Mansion this morning, I've been resting in my field of the Lilies of the Valley. I'd hoped to nap peacefully with Miss Lily all day. An 8-chapter follow-up story? Huh. I had no idea this was a thing. When did this come out? We want to confirm whether you are the culprit or not, right here, right now. Will you cooperate with us so you can clear your name? Gladly. This shouldn't take very long anyway. That conceit only makes you more repulsive. For now, let us hear your testimony. I hope you are prepared, Miss Attorney. You took the words right out of my mouth. Medicine and Lily are friends. She's talking about the little thing next to her, by the way, which I don't know if it's a doll or a fairy, but I like the idea that she says she's going to hang out with Lily, and then Lily White flies in, and turns out Lily White and Medicine are best friends. They met during the events of POFV, and they became friends. I don't know how. Don't ask me how. They just did. Yesterday, I was in the Forest of Magic all morning. Because remember, white Pikmin are immune to poison, which means Lily White's special attribute is she is also immune to poison. Yep. Pikmin logic. Yesterday, I was in the Forest of Magic all morning. It's quiet there. It's perfect for a peaceful stroll. Then suddenly, I was attacked by Alice's dolls. And so I never once approached the Sansa River. So this is what you claim? Well, we've already established the Lily Rangers in canon. There's like 5 different colors of Lily. There's Lily White, Lily Black, Lily Red, Lily Blue. And I don't know. Do we want Lily Yellow, Green, Purple? Lily Red is very aggressive. Lily Blue is very sad. What about what is Lily Yellow? What is Lily Purple? What is Lily Green? Lily Green is jealous. Both jealous and inexperienced, like a greenhorn. Yes, I do not know any relation to your incident, and I will stand firmly by this. Then it is time for the defense's cross-examination. I have to tie that snake to the incident bit by bit. Alright. Time to press everything. Yes. And when in the morning did you get there? Ah, well, I may not remember the time I arrived exactly, but I know I was in the forest until 9 o'clock. What were you doing there? I was just on a walk. I'm free to stroll where I please, aren't I? And you visited no other locations yesterday morning. I did not. No matter what I ask, I don't think she'll back down on this pretense of hers. It's quiet there and perfect for a peaceful stroll. But that miasma-choked hellhole doesn't feel like the nicest place to walk. For a walk. I'm a doll, not a living being. Poison and miasma are of no concern to me. And for that reason, the Forest of Magic, which most creatures avoid, is a refreshingly peaceful place for me. Was that truly the only reason? What do you mean? You talked about doll liberation yesterday, right? The Forest of Magic is home to Alice the Puppeteer, and I don't believe you were unaware of that when you went there. Might as well have been conscious of it, but that's all. There's no special purpose to me being in that forest. So you'll pretend to be unrelated to the case no matter what I say. Then suddenly I was attacked by Alice's dolls. So you mean to say you were in the forest until you were attacked at 9 o'clock? Well, that's how it was. You call yourself an activist, and yet you seem to have plenty of free time on your hands. But you see, not even I can think about doll liberation every hour of every day. Strolls are my way of relaxing. And while relaxing, you were suddenly attacked by dolls. That's how it was. Not even a hint of an opening. And so I never once approached the Sansa River. But there is a witness who says they saw you there. And? No, that means there's a contradiction between that testimony and yours. Contradiction or not, what I'm saying is the truth. To begin with, is that witness you speak of someone who can be trusted? It's a bit hard to believe. After all, the witness had just kept giving false testimony again and again. I knew this would happen. Well, that little snake over there was lying the whole time in the trial from yesterday. Certainly, I feel that both these testimonies are lacking in terms of credibility at this point. What was that? What does yesterday have to do with today? Nothing, for now. But you were the one who brought up who we should trust. If you want to start finding fault in others' credibility, then of course we'll do the same to you. Those living in glass houses shouldn't be casting stones, haven't you heard? I feel this is something the young heiress should try to take to heart herself. Oh my, it seems you are dead set on suspecting me. Then let me ask you a question of my own. Why would I go all the way to the Sanzu River to steal souls? In other words, she wants to discuss motives. However, Alice has no motive either. Wrong. The defendant has the clear and proper motive. Oh ho, and what might it be? The defendant has been doing research on creating living, self-aware dolls for a long time now, and she might have thought putting souls in dolls could make that possible. That would explain all of her actions, don't you agree? I see. I don't like this. The Yama's being persuaded, and if that's the case, then this is where I want to prove a motive of my own. Show her a motive. I can't show a motive. Show her a motive? Alice isn't the only one here with a motive. You too had an excellent motive as well. I understand you want to act strong here, but don't get carried away. For now, let us hear out the defense. What motive might this witness have had? Alice's downfall. It was to bring about Alice's downfall. The defendant's downfall. That dummy's goal is to liberate dolls. As a puppeteer, Alice is exactly the kind of person who'd be a thorn in her eye. You mean her side? And so, in order to entrap Alice, she orchestrated this entire incident. I see. The defendant's downfall. Sadly for you, that doesn't quite make sense. What? What? Because there's no reason putting souls in Alice's dolls would lead to her downfall. What are you talking about? We're right in the middle of Alice's trial, and it's because Alice went to the Sanzu River all by herself. Do you think I can control Alice's movements? Lest you forget, I am a puppet, and Alice is a puppeteer. Isn't it obvious which is the user and which is used? That's... Simply put, that claim does not hold up. Oh, shit. No way! But I thought I was on the right track! While I doubt she is displeased, Miss Alice was accused. It does seem unlikely Miss Medicine's primary aim was to frame her for a crime. Then what on earth was her true goal? The suspect insists she is unrelated to the case, just as I thought she would. Well, that too was within my expectations, but will she not manage to slip away at this rate? And that's why I have to snare her before she can with one of these incident's many threads. Then I will sit back and enjoy the spectacle to come of the young heiress of Hinanai's skill as a hunter. Alright. That really seemed correct, but you know what? She took me for a ride with that one. So if it's not take revenge on Alice, there's no reason for her to get revenge on the Yama. So it's got to be with the intent of creating self-aware dolls. It was to create self-aware dolls. Whoa, wait a minute. That's the defendant's motive. So what? Is there a rule that says two people can't have the same motive in this court? She's right! There is no such rule. However, say what you like, but why the shock? That dummy has made doll liberation her whole reason for being. But wouldn't that require other dolls who can move and think on their own? And wouldn't that be a reason for her to try placing souls within dolls? But that doesn't make any sense. I was attacked by those dolls in the Forest of Magic that morning. Why would the dolls I liberated attack me? It was never the dolls' intent to attack you. It was that the souls of them using them as vessels. To begin with, there are no dolls with the intent to do anything intent to do harm or do anything besides you. But I was in the Forest of Magic when I was assaulted. Those souls were kidnapped at the Sanzu River. The sole aim of souls, get it, who enter dolls is to be picked up by Shinigami and ferried to Higan clandestinely. What the fuck? That's a new word. Clandestinely? In a secretive or illicit way. Okay, how do you say it? Clandestinely. Clandestinely. Okay, cool. Neat. New word in the word bank. But you decided to drag them off to Gensokyo, and that was why the souls resisted you. As we've established, When you come back to get Gensokyo from the Sanzu River, you have no choice but to pass through the Forest of Magic. And so you enter the forest in order to release the new living dolls you created in Gensokyo. But the souls eager to find their way to Higan turned on you then and there. Gah. Congratulations, Medicine. No one can deny you of the qualifications to join us as a suspect. We wholeheartedly welcome you. No thank you. Did you all forget? I'm a victim! Everyone here should be feeling sorry for me. So why do I have to be suspected? To begin with, there's no proof at all that I ever went to the Sanzu. But we have a witness. Who can't be trusted. I see now there is no honor among slackers. Besides, there's another big problem you overlooked. What big problem? I may be a doll myself, but that doesn't make me capable of making more dolls on my own. Those dolls that were possessed by the lost souls, how in the world did I prepare them? If anything, the defendant's the only one who could have prepared something like that. My, is that all? This isn't even close to being a problem. It's not even worth pondering. But I must assume you can present an answer. How did this witness prepare dolls to house the souls within? I don't believe you could possibly have forgotten already. On the morning of the incident, dolls were stolen from Alice's house. So you are suggesting that the witness took dolls from the defendant's home to commit this crime? Yes, that is the only possible explanation. Whoops, that won't do, Miss Attorney. And why do you say that? Because there isn't any proof of that either. That is, proof that I stole dolls from Alice's house. Aren't you just making me out to be a criminal because of a wild guess? Certainly, accusing a witness without proof is not something I will allow. Medicine, let me return those words to you. That won't do at all. What? You already trapped yourself back in yesterday's trial. Whoa, whoops, I didn't mean to click that. I don't remember if this game has a log. Oops. Yesterday's trial. My bad, I double-clicked, my finger twitched. Surely you must remember, as the prosecutor in charge. And even now you don't seem to realize it. Thank you, that's what she said. Surely you must remember, as the prosecutor in charge, in her last testimony, the dummy told us something about Alice's pajamas. What the hell does that have to do with anything? The problem is, how did you know about these pajamas? It was only immediately after her dolls were stolen that Alice stepped outside in that outfit. And if you saw Alice like that, it could only mean that you were at the scene when that burglary took place. Ah! So you were right there at the time of the crime. Isn't that reason enough to be suspicious? After all, Alice was placed in the defendant's dock today for the very same reason. Ugh. Yesterday morning, you broke into Alice's house and took some of her dolls. And then Alice attempted to chase after you and after you fled. At that time, you saw Alice in her pajamas from afar. And that is how your misunderstanding that Alice was wearing red clothes that day came to be. I got you now, you fucking bitch. Order. Witness regarding the defense's claims. It's all garbage. I just happened to be near Alice's house by chance. I never stole any dolls. But you should have seen them then. The one who really stole those dolls. I didn't see anything. I must have been on the opposite side of the doll room. But that's so strange. If that was the case, how did you see Alice go after the thief? You were even able to describe her pajamas. At this point, I believe we will resolve this faster through further testimony. Is that acceptable, witness? I understand. There's no escape. I'll bring you down straight away. Even if dolls were stolen from Alice's house, I don't know anything about it. You can't seriously mean to say that I must be the thief solely because I happen to be near the scene. There's no way to know for certain if any dolls were ever stolen to begin with. I really was just nearby by chance, that's all. Well, there is no denying that could have been a matter of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And there's no proof the witness stole anything in the first place. It appears this will not go as smoothly as we hoped. True, but she's undoubtedly being backed into a corner. Yes, you need only stand firm a little longer. Then your cross-examination, defense. Just a little bit more, I'll catch you for sure. Chad, it's been an hour and 20 minutes. Imagine if I had gone through with the trial day yesterday. I would have been here till 11 o'clock at the minimum. Holy shit. Even if dolls were stolen from Alice's house, I don't know anything about it. But you had a motive and you were at the scene. That alone doesn't make me a thief, does it? But aren't you all accusing Alice only because she went to the Sanzu? In the defendant's case, we have the evidence of the souls found in her own dolls as well. If you want to doubt this witness, then you'll have to ask you to show some convincing evidence yourself. Honestly, every single time it's evidence this, evidence that. I mean, yeah. It still makes it a possibility. But a trial isn't about aimlessly discussing possibilities, is it? This medicine is crafty. She's got a good head on her shoulders, that's for sure. Sneaky little rat. As you say, merely going on about what might have been possible will only lead to endless squabbles. You must present some sort of grounds defense. Grounds, she says. There's no way to know for certain if any dolls were ever stolen to begin with. A window was smashed open, wasn't it? That's obvious proof that someone broke in. But that doesn't necessarily mean that dolls were stolen. The broken window was that of the doll room. It's only logical to think that dolls were the burglar's target. Well, even if there was really the case, there's no evidence to prove it. If I keep at this, I'll just be asked to present evidence I don't have. So maybe I should try another approach instead. Attack from another angle. You were near Alice's house when the dolls were stolen, so you must have heard that window break, right? Eh? Well, I suppose I did, of course. And on hearing something like that, normally you get curious and draw close. Or rather, you might get scared and run away. However, if you consider all the facts, you'll find it much more likely that she approached. She would have not seen what Alice was wearing at the time otherwise. That's it. I became concerned when I heard that noise, so I went to have a look. Is there a problem with that? If there's still one problem, it's that you should have also seen the burglar escaping, as I pointed out earlier. Not much time could have elapsed between the thief's flight and Alice leaping out of the house, so you should definitely have seen them, the actual culprit. Well, witness, did you or did you not see the culprit? I know who it must have been, that thief you keep talking about. Then say as much as in your testimony. I'll do it whether you want me to or not. At that time I saw that witch Marissa flying into Alice's house. Oh. Now, I don't think I have evidence per se, but the profile might have updated to mention. Yeah. The profile updated for Marissa. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't think I actually read Marissa's profile when I got it. Magician with the longest criminal record of them all. She was sleeping off a night of partying at the Hakode Shrine the morning of the incident. Yep. Alright. I have terrible news for you. What now? Remy and Sakura are new too? Okay, hold on. Oh. The maid of the Scarlet Double Mansion carries out her superior's wishes, fixes all of her subordinates' mistakes. Work hard, detective middle manager. The vampire claims to manipulate fate. Either way, she's the type only ever act as she pleases. But what's this charisma they keep talking about? I like that those profiles are written from Tenshi's POV. What now? Marissa could not have been out and about stealing dolls that morning because she was soundly sleeping in the Hakode Shrine. That can't be. Order! Are you certain of this defense? If you doubt me, fetch Reimu from your office, or ask our fine prosecutor right here. It's true. I heard the same thing from Reimu. Which means you were lying to all of our faces just now. And you did so because the culprit was you. If I didn't say something, you'd just been spewing whatever garbage you want. You stole the dolls and used them to carry away the kidnapped souls. That's the whole truth. It's true the witness was lying to us, but that doesn't necessarily mean she was the soul snatcher. There's still no proof at all that the witness ever went to the Sanzu River. It's true we couldn't find any traces of her on the bank of the Sanzu River. However, there is evidence to show that the thief who stole Alice's dolls was there. How the hell? This here is proof that the burglar who stole the dolls went to the Sanzu River. It's you, little one, again. So what is the significance of this doll? This is the doll Komachi picked up by the Sanzu River after the crime. And if you take a close look, you'll see this doll wears a blue dress. That's obvious whether you take a close look or not. My point is, the morning of the incident, all of the dolls wearing blue clothes were stolen from Alice's house. So this doll could not have been something Alice dropped there herself. This was left behind by the true culprit, the thief who took the dolls from her house. What? So our doll thief visited the Sanzu River that morning, and the only one who had an opportunity to steal these dolls is you, Medicine. Order! You're just making this all up. You can't prove a thing. Your claim that you saw Marissa fleeing Alice's house was a bald-faced lie. How on earth can you expect anyone to believe any of your excuses after that? But... That's enough. For the time being, let us hear out the defense's case in full. You can't! You all know that Celestial is scum, but you're gonna believe her and not me? Mata. It'd be best if you just shut up for now, witness. Every time you open your mouth, your standing in this court plummets. But... Behave yourself and don't say anything you don't have to. I can't fight back properly because of you. Have it your way. She's good at quashing tantrums. Well, she's used to it. Now then, if that is all, the defense may speak. At present, the most likely suspect as far as the theft of the dolls is concerned is this witness. Remember, Mei-Ling is a gatekeeper for a reason. She may be a little lazy. She may be a little, you know, a little squishy. But she can do her job when push comes to shove. Yesterday morning, she stole blue-clad dolls from Alice's house after breaking in. Afterwards, she saw Alice chasing after her from afar, but escaped her by fleeing in the forest. And then she left the Forest of Magic and arrived at the Sanzu River, where she dropped a single doll. But why would the witness leave a doll there? It might be she ran into some sort of trouble. At least, she must not have done it intentionally. And that trouble of yours, can you tell us what it was? I have a fairly good idea. In that case, the defense may present their theory. What was it that caused the witness to leave one of the dolls behind at the river's shore? It was this thing! How would that make somebody drop a doll? Well, it could have happened somehow. I feel you deserve a penalty somehow. Wait a minute, what? Well, that wasn't right somehow. Wait, I thought I did a pretty good job with that. Was that really wrong? You're trying to prove the witness's crime right now. I don't have to tell you how bad it'll look if you keep screwing up, right? Of course not. If I consider everything we've learned so far, then it shouldn't be too hard to figure out what happened. I asked you again, defense. What was it that caused the witness to leave one of the dolls behind? I thought, okay, listen, my line of logic was that she saw Komachi and panicked. More than this one. It was this thing. That stack of stones. We've been told this tower on the Sanzu River beach was stacked up at the time of the incident. However, just a short time after the kidnapping, it was found to have been knocked over. And since that lost doll was found where the stack used to stand, that must have been the culprit's doing. That would certainly make sense. It seems likely that at the time the culprit was walking around looking all over for souls and not at where she was going. And because of that, she ran right into that stone stack without noticing it. In that event, she would fall over and drop the dolls. She had to pick them up in a hurry, but in the end she missed one and it was left there. That must be how it all happened. I see. A bit later, after finding a clump of cooperative souls, Medicine coaxed them into the dolls and then fled the Sanzu River. And when she re-entered the Forest of Magic, the souls within the dolls began to resist her. That is how Medicine came to be attacked by the dolls. With the dolls having become uncontrollable, you went and reported Alice to the police in the hope of pushing this whole mess on her. It's obvious you hate Alice just for being a puppeteer, so that'd be a good enough pretext for you, right? However, I do have one concern remaining. You say the souls turned against the witness because she took them away from the Sanzu River. So why did they not return to the Sanzu by themselves afterwards? That forest of magic is quite large, so they may have simply lost their way. It might be those souls made up their mind to mutiny because they were taken so deep in the forest. This all seems coherent for the time being. Now what do you say to that, medicine? And what would you have me say? I'm so sorry, it was me all along? Something like that? Why would I ever say such a thing? Isn't that what you'd call leading the witness? Stop being a sore loser. Confess your crimes already. I didn't realize medicine read the entire book of law over the course of this fucking case. Why is she so informed, dude? She's the most informed witness I've ever seen. Next thing you know, she's gonna plead the fifth. I'm sure you understand it now, too. You were never winning this trial. Why have you gone silent, Lady Hinanai? Weren't you going to save Miss Alice? There's nothing left. Eh? There's no evidence left. I don't have anything to corner her with. Oh my, so you finally realized, haven't you, Miss Attorney? Everything you presented so far is just wild conjecture, cobbled together from the defendant's words and a bunch of circumstantial evidence. There's no real decisive proof to back any of it up. It's only speculation to the very end. You failed to prove this was the witness's crime. Gah! Order! It's so sad, Miss Attorney. No, Miss Delinquent, but defective trash can never be of help to anyone, so this was impossible for you to begin with. This girl is toxic! Holy shit! That means this is the only natural outcome. Don't feel too beat up about it. What a powerful witness. Was that really how it had to be? Either way, I can't help Alice no matter what I do? Am I really just no good to anybody? If there's no evidence to back it up, debating this any further would be totally pointless. So, can we let this witness leave now? I would appreciate that. Standing like this for so long gets to be a bit tiring. Hey, Iku. It sounds like this believe in me stuff really doesn't suit me after all, huh? Lady Hinanai? Never could be trusted with Alice's defense from the beginning. What's the matter, Lady Hinanai? Is something you ate for dinner disagreeing with you? What? Let me be clear. As you say, all this talk of making others believe in you does not become you. My, how disgusting. How dare you? However, I can think of a word that suits you even less. That is, resignation. Lady Hinanai, it is true you have caused other people all sorts of grief up until now. And yet, whenever you were confronted, you always faced your foes with a smile on your face and fire in your eyes, even though you were in the wrong. And if they ever gained the upper hand over you, you twisted their arm and stood strong without ever giving up. But for me, stand up straight, Lady Hinanai. Wallowing in self-pity is the one thing I'll never allow from you. You can. No, only you can save Alice. So how can you be talking of giving up? Iku. Look, Miss Shimamadu is watching. Can you imagine what she'll write about your debut match ends in such a miserable defeat? Right, even in that crisis, you still saved me. And if I just give up here, everything we've done will be all for nothing. Then the witness's questioning will now end. I am not finished yet. Now, if there's no evidence, then what's the point of keeping this up? Whereas there's no evidence, there's still testimony. Testimony from who? The witness that we have here, naturally. I have deduced what the dummy was doing at the time of the incident. And in her account is what she was actually doing at the time is to be your counter evidence. I demand to hear that testimony. Unfortunately, my questioning is already over. Oh, if the defense will insist, I can allow one last round of cross-examination. Oh, gotcha! Wait, what? This happened in Phoenix Wright like twice. While the evidence may be lacking, it would not be wrong to say there is ample reason to suspect you. I also feel it is necessary to re-examine everything again from the beginning. That's not... Show some dignity. You're innocent, aren't you? What's with you looking down on me? Now then, the witness will testify one last time. Too bad, Mr. Lawyer. My questioning period is over. I'll allow it. Wow. On the morning of that day, I was strolling through the forest of magic all the while, and then Alice suddenly flew by before me, still in her PJs. Since she looked so different from usual, the clothes she was wearing left a strong impression on me, but I didn't think there was anything particularly strange about it, so I continued my walk. A little while after that, I was suddenly attacked by Alice's dolls. I managed to scramble away and went to the police. That's all. And that testimony was the whole truth. Of course. Then why didn't you testify like this from the start? Because I didn't want you to start strange rumors that I've been stealing dolls. That's why I lied. But I didn't do anything. So, for now, whether this testimony is a lie or the truth, it's up to the lawyer's cross-examination to prove it. Indeed, and so it is time for the defense to carry out this final cross-examination. Whew, that's a heavy burden you're placing on me, in more ways than one. Alright. Alright. Let's get the information train. And how long would the whole time be? From when I woke up that morning to when I went to the police. But I can't remember the exact times well. Be that as it may, while the series of incidents occurred, you were in the Forest of Magic the whole time. That's exactly right. If there even is evidence to completely refute that, I simply don't have it right now. And then Alice suddenly flew by before me, still in her pajamas. Why would Alice suddenly appear in her pajamas? I'm afraid I couldn't tell you, but she was flying towards her house. Maybe she'd lost that burglar who you say stole her dolls and was returning home. I see. That would explain why you never saw the culprit in the end. But she lied about seeing Marissa. That was only because I was so afraid of being taken for the thief. And I regret it now. She's skittering to safety like a cockroach. Since she looked so different from usual, the clothes she was wearing left a strong impression on me. And this was when you described her pajamas in your testimony from yesterday. That must be it. That would resolve that issue then. She's rather gifted when it comes to patching holes along the way, as it turns out. I took her too lightly, the dummy's quite fearsome when she can keep a cool head. But this is what makes her a worthwhile opponent to you, isn't it? Well, maybe so. But that's kind of wrong, isn't it? I mean, if Alice was flying from the Sanzu at that point, she would have been dressed and would have had the scarf on, right? Oh, I guess that's not it. Alright, I jumped the gun. I jumped the gun. That's fine, I jumped the gun. I'll just continue pressing. Alright. So you continued strolling through the forest of magic like nothing happened until dolls attacked you. Yes, there was no reason I should have left the forest after all. But wasn't Alice flying around in her pajamas? Doesn't that qualify as strange to you? I only saw her pass by in a flash, so I didn't realize that she was in pajamas. In the moment, I only thought she was wearing her outfit I'd never seen before. Well, that would be no reason to be overly concerned over such a thing. I still can't find any openings at all. A little while after that, I was suddenly attacked by Alice's dolls, and you were attacked near Alice's house like you said yesterday. Actually, that might have been wrong. What? Since I was so certain Alice had done it, it's possible that I convinced myself I was still near her house. In reality, I might have been elsewhere at the time, but I certainly was still in the Forest of Magic. So you weren't attacked near Alice's house. Well, even if we were told that now, it doesn't really matter anymore. The defendant has already been shown to be innocent as far as this incident is concerned. This isn't going to be enough for a breakthrough. I managed to scramble away and went to the police, that's all. And you went to the police at once after being attacked by these dolls. Yes, I was the one assaulted, so I wouldn't have dawdled, even if I wanted to. But you only saw the dolls back then, didn't you? So why did you accuse Alice? Because they were Alice's dolls. Anybody would think that they've been attacked by Alice in that situation. While that might have been a misconception, it is hardly a surprising one. But it's obvious she must have done it out of ill will towards Alice. Otherwise, she wouldn't have lied about seeing Alice herself in yesterday's trial. However, there is no way to prove that. That's right. What on earth am I going to do? Enough. It seems there is nothing else to be found. What? Wait a moment, Yama. Why would you try to force me to stop now? Just give it up already. Everyone here can tell that this cross-examination hasn't accomplished anything. Even if you keep at it, you just don't have any chance of winning. It can't be! Wouldn't it be the best if you just up and stopped now? This is becoming embarrassing. Be reasonable and admit it. You've been beaten by me! Gah! This can't be happening! With that, the cross-examination of this witness is over. Explanations have now been provided for the witness's past misunderstandings. Furthermore, the defense has proven unable to refute the claim that she was in the Forest of Magic for the entire duration of the incident. With this, it can be said that all suspicions against the witness have been cleared up. You're kidding! The witness will now be allowed to leave the courtroom. Hold it. The trial, hold it just a bit. Ak, it's you. Why are you here? Whew, you certainly took your time. I grew tired of waiting. Sorry, I know I took too long. This game has not had Lily White even once, which kind of affects its Metacritic score just a bit. What is the meaning of this commotion, Komachi? I thought there might still be evidence to be found, so I went back to the scene one more time. I want to make up for what I did to Alice, whatever it takes. Evidence? Anyway, Komachi, show them what you found, quickly. Alice's fate is hanging in the balance. About that. What's the matter, Komachi? No, don't do this to me. I'm sorry, I couldn't find anything. Seriously? You big, giant moron! I went back to the scene, looked everywhere I could, even turned over every stone. But I never found anything that'd be useful. And why did you even bother coming back? Even if I couldn't find evidence, I figured my testimony could still be worth something. And then I got worried that maybe everything was already over. Regrettably, your words can no longer be accepted as reliable evidence. You have already given false testimony to this court. Knowing that, are you still prepared? Well, it's no use. Even if I keep screaming at her, it won't change anything. But I need to do something with this anger. Ooh, my. It looks like you're also completely useless. And that demon doll, she still won't shut up. You can't find evidence. You can't do your job properly. What good are you? Oh, I'm sorry. It's only because you were goofing off while everyone else was hard at work that you're a witness, right? That's hilarious, isn't it? Just cut it out already. Even I'm starting to feel bad for her. Except you just slipped the tongue, baby. Wait a second. Oh, winning by the slip of the tongue. What is it, Lady Hinanai? That's it. There's still something I can do. Raise your head, Komachi. There's no reason for you to be disheartened. But I've just been no help to the very end. No, you're the best. At this crucial moment, you brought us the strongest evidence there could be. What? Don't be stupid. There's nothing wrong with that. Ah, well, it suddenly materialized just now. Thanks to Komachi. Eh? What the hell are you talking about? If this evidence is as strong as you say, then there is no more need for words, is there? Now please show us defense. Uh-oh. The strongest evidence is... Now then, first of all, I must extend my condolences to the witness. Although in your case, it might be more appropriate to hold a doll memorial. What are you trying to say? I have only one thing to say to you. It's true that Komachi witnessed the incident because she was neglecting her work. But why do you know this? What do you mean? Looking at this timetable makes it abundantly clear that if Komachi witnessed this incident on the living shore of the Sanzu River, she must have been slacking. But this document is top secret, confidential information. You should never have known about it. So why can you so confidently declare that Komachi was over on the Shigan shore slacking off? Ah! By your own admission, you've been in your field of lilies of the valley all afternoon. You shouldn't know about anything that came to light in this trial. That's... However, this is all strictly confidential, as you said. How could the witness have known the schedule in the first place? There are methods besides reading it, since you used the same timetable every day, didn't you? By spying on the Sanza River day after day, an outsider could learn the Shinigami schedule. Ah, that is true. That must be when she did. And that would be a way for her to prepare for a time when no Shinigami would be present. What? Wait, but then there'd be nothing strange about me saying she must be slacking. The question that becomes, why are you so interested in what happens at the Sanza River to the point you've been learned the Shinigami schedule by heart? And secondly, why did you already know that Komachi was a witness to the incident because she was on the wrong shore? Well, you've been insisting you were in the Forest of Magic the whole time, haven't you? You should not have known so much about what happens at the Sanza River or where Komachi was. What? You knew the Shinigami schedule. And you knew that Komachi was skipping work on the living side that morning. That can only mean you went to the Sanza River at the time of the crime. No! Now, will you admit to it all, Medicine? Is my mic still zapping? Of course. That's why I'm not touching it. Doll liberation? Was that truly what drove you to carry out such a foolish, reckless scheme? I'm still using the same microphone I got when I first started, chat. If I was to get a new microphone, I would want to get like a better, higher quality, more professional one. Cause, you know, like a noise gate. That would be, I think that'd be nice. This mic still works and it does its job well, but a Blue Yeti is well known. A Blue Yeti is well known as baby's first microphone because it's a reliable microphone, but it's not like, you know, it's not amazing, but it does its job. There's a bit of a crackle. Is there? No one's mentioned it so far. I don't think there is. No one's mentioned it, so I don't know. I don't hear anything on my end, but I only hear my own voice. I don't hear what comes out of the mic. Doll liberation. Was that truly what drove you to carry out such a foolish, reckless scheme? If you're not noticing anything, that's for the best. But yeah, no, I don't know anything about microphones, so I'd like to get a really good one. But yeah, I don't even know who to ask for that kind of thing. You told me before that tools are things others can one-sidedly force their feelings on. But I have a will of my own, and the same can be true of every doll. Well, nobody else has noticed it, so it might have just been maybe the stream had to buffer, and sometimes when the stream buffers, it desyncs and it goes a bit silly. Maybe that's what it was. That's why I have to fight for them. If I don't, then who will? I also told you as much on that day. Your worldview is too narrow. None shall ever take the side of one who refuses to understand the suffering of others. Were there even dolls? Well, my chat disconnected earlier, so Twitch definitely had a hiccup or something, so maybe that's what caused it. I don't know though for sure. As long as it works and I'm coherent, it's fine. Were there even dolls in this world you could liberate? They would never follow one such as you. And in reality, the souls you put in dolls resisted you, leaving you with nothing to show for it but injuries. Do you know why that is? I haven't done anything wrong. It was all to free the dolls. What you have done this time was not liberating dolls, but kidnapping souls. You callously tried to force your own wishes onto the souls you dragged along with you. And so they rebelled against you. That's not what I did. That sort of thing. It's always humans who do that. Then allow me to present you with a question. Why could you not defeat Tenshi Hinanai in this trial? Why could you not see Alice Murgatroyd found guilty? Think well on why that might be. Now, this hearing has gone on long enough. I am sure you are all quite exhausted. Well, maybe a little. I want to go home and crash into bed already. And I shall pass my verdict on to the defendant, and we will see this trial concluded for good. The defendant, Alice Murgatroyd, will come to the stand. Yes. Very good. I will now render my verdict. Hoorah. So, Mei Ling didn't get a lot of show time in that trial, but it happens. Patchy and Remilia tend to get more, you know, they tend to show up more in the trial because their main goal is to, like, their main goal is to defeat Aya, right? But it didn't really feel like Mei Ling's goal was necessarily to crush like Tenchi. It felt more friendly than anything. But even then, there wasn't really a lot of ways for Mei Ling to get a word in edgewise. At least compared to other cases where Patchy and Mei Ling have been, or Patchy and Remy have been involved at the very least. Court is adjourned for today. She gets more chances to shine if you fuck up more. Yeah. But that applies for like everyone in the courtroom, right? Everybody takes a shot at the defense attorney when you fuck up. It's one of the best parts of the game is fucking up and getting the banter, but also it sucks to fuck up. It's over, isn't it? Indeed it is. Your second victory in court. Somehow I'm not feeling it. Even though I've finally been proven innocent after so much heartache, you cannot be happy for me. I feel so alone. It's not like that. I'm just still feeling like I'm balancing on the edge of a cliff. I don't know if I could ever come back. You'll get better before too long. I know the feeling. That's right. Today's trial was your win, and all of us can attest to that, right? You've done well, Lady Hinanai. This time you can take pride in adorning tomorrow's headlines. Well, if you're all going to insist, I suppose I can be glad about it. Alice! Oh, if it isn't our tardy Komachi. Sorry, I couldn't really tell you when the right time to speak to you would be. Now this is new. You usually love chatting so much it's hard to stop you. No, it's just even now it still feels like it was because of me that you got arrested. But if it weren't for your slacking, there wouldn't have been a single witness to begin with. And so in the end, it was your lack of work ethic that made this victory possible. When you put it like that, skipping work doesn't sound like such a bad thing. Don't get ahead of yourself, Komachi. You can try saying that again after your punishment has been decided. Come on now. Well, it's also a fact the timetable was my own mistake. So I will consider the extenuating circumstances. I knew it, Lady Aki. You're so merciful. Whoa. Why are y'all making so much noise? Oh, Mei Ling. I'd assumed you'd be asleep by now. Normally you'd be right, but I wanted to see what all the fuss was in here. You have some nerve showing yourself before me after what you just put me through. Hey now, Iku said I had to beat you senseless, so... No, I could see just how much you came to enjoy it midway through. Why, you. Good grief, it's turned into quite the crowd before we knew it, hasn't it? So since you went to the trouble of coming here, why don't you come out of that corner and join us? Oh, you're here too. You seem to be in good spirits. I was in good spirits until I had to see your face again. It was kind of nice too. This doesn't mean I lost. Next time I'll definitely win. Whew, she still hasn't had enough. Have you come to turn in the homework I gave you? I don't care about that. Anyway, Alice, one day I'll set all dolls free from you, I promise. Oh my, it seems you truly do hate me. So you still do not understand a thing, Medicine. No matter how hard you struggle from today on, you will never win against Tenchi or Alice. We won't know that unless I try. I do know. Whether you try or not, this is not something you will ever accomplish by yourself. What? You need only look around you. How will you overcome so many all by your lonesome? What? Ganging up on me isn't fair. You are mistaken. It is you who is attempting to take on the world alone. From the beginning, Tenchi had Iku as a companion. And through her defense of Alice, they formed a report based on trust. When you put it like that, it makes my skin crawl. I am merely stating the facts, not to mention Mei Ling or Komachi. Through this trial, Tenchi had formed bonds with many. Can you think of anyone who would extend a helping hand to you like this? So what? What's the point of boasting about how many friends you have? Your outlook is still too narrow. You cannot see past yourself. I told you as much when we first met. Even if you cry out for doll liberation, you will fall into despair when no one will help you. Your self-assurance springs only from hubris, and there will come times you will be unable to save yourself. What will you do then? What's with all of you? Is it fun to bully me? Now that brings back memories. There was a time when I said the exact same thing. The first trial I ever experienced, as the defendant. In order to save myself, I told all kinds of lies. I even lied to Aya, who was supposed to defend me. It really is kind of nostalgic. It was rough. We backed ourselves into a corner, and then Tenchi started crying. You don't have to tell them that. But Miss Tenchi believed in Aya in the end, and because she told the truth, we managed to save her. It was the first time I felt what it was like to be helpless on my own. But I also learned just how important it is to be able to trust in other people, thanks to Aya. Haha, it really does feel kind of embarrassing when you put it like that. What was it you said right after that again, Aya? The things I do for the Boom Boom Maru, I think? Eh? Wait, is that true? Momiji, shut your mouth! I don't believe it! Here I am, pouring my heart out, and this is how you felt about it all this time? No, Tenchi, it's just a misunderstanding. This is what makes presiding over these trials worthwhile to me, Medicine. Wishes and convictions collide, and people come to better understand one another in court. And I believe that goes for you as well. You're not making any sense. All I've done is give everyone new reasons to hate me. I would not worry about it over much. The young heiress has also shown the world just how horrible she can be in that courtroom once before. And yet look at her now, happily getting along with everyone. But the incident is resolved now. From tomorrow on, everyday life will start all over again. So there's no need to look so gloomy anymore. Why? I tried to pin a crime on you, so shouldn't you hate me more than anyone else? Because it's already in the past. And besides, when I look at you, I feel like you need my help. Alice, look here, your ribbon is all crooked and dirty. Oh, and the buttons are coming off your shirt. Come to think of it, in a way, it's because of my poor girls that your clothes are all torn up. I'll mend them for you, so please come see me later. Alice. It's alright, Medicine. If Alice is saying that, it's because she wants to be your friend. Those trials really do have a scary kind of power. You can say that again. Because there are doll makers, there are dolls, and that is the reason dolls can remain forever beautiful. Even if dolls were liberated, who would tend to them? They would only decay by themselves. The doll and the doll maker share a unique bond where one must leave herself wholly in the other's hands so that both may display their true value. Yes, much like the defendant and her attorney. Meet more people and learn the importance of bonds. That is the good deed you can do right now, Medicine. Fine. I'll give it a try. Yuck! We only let the Yama speak for a few minutes, but everything turns sickly sweet all of a sudden. Alas, it appears these flavors simply aren't to the liking of the young heiress. Not good. I'm falling asleep on my feet over here. Same for me. How am I gonna make it through the workday tomorrow? Oh, right, Komachi. The other day I found a place that looked just perfect for taking naps. You wanna go check it out? Well, now that sounds nice. I'll take you up on that offer sometime. But as far as today goes, we gotta get ourselves home, huh? It's already 10:30. Dear me, is it already this late? Then I suppose it's about time we part ways for today. Ha! I still have to get these articles on paper, so it's going to be an all-nighter for me. It's already so late, why not leave that for tomorrow? What are you saying? If I sleep on the story, even Hatate might beat me to the presses. That's true. Excuse me. Wait, if you write anything, it has to be top-notch. I won't settle for sloppy work. I understand. Just believe in my pride as a reporter. Of course, it was much more important to you than my defense after all. Ha ha ha. Please don't hold it against me, Tenchi. And so concluded my first time in court as an attorney. Delinquent Celestial wins the case. The incident stirred all sorts of emotions, and they all clashed against each other in the halls of justice. Many stories tangled with one another, and together they gave rise to a miracle. As for what that miracle will bring to us, we don't know the answer to that question yet. But I can say one thing for sure. I think that I've grown a little. Now here's the $1 million question, chat. Is that the end? That was 3 cases in a tutorial. Is it gonna roll the credits? It's rolling the credits! Just the other day, Miss Alice delivered Lady Hinanai and her promised doll. She seems quite pleased with it. Lately, she's been spending more time with that doll than me. I would never have imagined the young heiress could get so engrossed in playing with dolls, but it allowed me to see quite the adorable side of her. However, she has taken to calling her doll Bluey because her dress is blue. That sense for names is certainly something. Bluey! I had a nostalgic sort of dream last night of back when I was a child. It's been many years since I left home, so I do wonder how everyone is doing. It left me feeling it might be nice to be a child again. Silly, isn't it? Speaking of my home, I hear Byakuya and the Myoden Temple lived there quite until recently. Maybe I can get together and speak in Makai one of these days. Bluey. The other day I made the acquaintance of an umbrella in the graveyard behind that temple. I heard she was cast aside by a human in the past and became a monster because of her grudge. As I was once thrown away like garbage myself, I felt I could truly understand her anguish. So we decided we should strike fear into the hearts of mankind together sometime. Every ally I make is a step towards making my dream a dull liberation of reality. But if I get carried away, maybe Alice won't comb my hair anymore. That's nice. What's up? I know what it looks like, but I'm actually really busy. No more slacking off for me. Lady Akey's been watching me like a hawk ever since that time. But like they say, when the cat's away... Hear me out a second. I'm already so busy with the ferry. Why do I gotta put the bailiff too? Nobody appreciates the work I do. Handling the witnesses are always so difficult. There's a huge hassle, so instead of focusing on the prosecution's attorney, somebody try to write a story the bailiffs take on things. Oh. Recently, I have noticed an upsurge of phantoms. They are not souls of the dead, but divine spirits. Oh, I was talking about 1213. While they're technically outside of my jurisdiction, I am still concerned. You see, divine spirits arise from desires, and desires are... She started talking about 1213. Great Rabbit Obama? Is that what that said? I think we all learned something in the last trial. Me, I learned I'd rather keep being just a gatekeeper. I'm betting I'm better at fighting with my fist than my head, right? I've just gotta stay at the door and attack anybody I see. So last night I saw a skulking shadow and attacked them. But actually it was my lady out for a walk. That's not fair! I even got scolded for doing my job! That P in the L looks like a U. So it says, thank you for lying. Yes. The side and extra episodes are now available. There's more. Poggies. Side episode. The Tale of an Encounter. The days come and go, but there are some days that stay with you. On an uneventful afternoon, Aya tells the story of how she and Momiji met. Oh, I see. Extra episode, the double turnabout. Another trial is to be held against Sokyo, and Aya is the plaintiff, meaning it is up to the defense attorney Tenshi Hinanai to face her. What other surprises lurk in the shadows of this case? Whoa, what the hell? Aya? Oh, wow, okay. Alright. Alright, so we have a side episode and an extra episode. The side episode should be half an hour long. You can maybe do it now. Is it not that long? I'm thinking about it. What time I got left? I also do it last. I assume... does the side story have anything to do with the extra episode, or is it 100% just its own thing? Because I do want to do it. I would like to do it, but I don't know if I want to... Okay. So, but I feel like if I end with it, it's a little flaccid, you know? Fuck it, we'll do it now. We'll do it now. So it's just a short story chat. Hello everyone, if you're a new face, nice to meet you. If not, it's good to see you again. This is your favorite pure and honest reporter, Aya Shimemadu speaking. To obtain high-grade news scoops quickly, I mean to fight the evil running rampant in our society, I've been practicing law. There's nothing to do today. And so after many hectic days, that elusive treasure we call a day off has finally come to me. Well, if there are any incidents and I don't go out for interviews, it's effectively like I have a day off. So let's just call it that. Momiji, let's have some tea. Whoops, she's not here today. She did say she was going to see Notori. It's a bit embarrassing to call out for my assistant in an empty office. Good thing no one's around to hear it. Oh, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I really do. The weather's nice today. It's so peaceful. This is the day made for interviews, and for the first time in forever, there's no one around to bug me. As they say, you should strike while the iron is hot. So let's go hunt for news stories right away. Thinking this, I quickly gather my things and leave my office behind. And so, I've come to ask for that interview. As you say, it is true you've been in your debt ever since you resolved that matter for us. However, why does it have to be right now? I'd remembered I was promised an exclusive interview at Hakugokuro, and so I went to collect on that debt. But it seems I've caught Yomo at a bad time. With the sword in one hand and a pot light in the other, she was either over-prepared for cooking or under-prepared for war. But the apron she's wearing suggests the former. I know I made you a promise, but could you not have sent advance warning beforehand? Oh, but we never said I had to do that, did we? That's just unreasonable. Yomu! I'm hungry! If you don't hurry, I'll starve to death! It seems Yomu was about to prepare lunch after all. My powers of deduction are truly awe-inspiring. Stumbling towards the both of us, swaying left and right, Lady Yuko raises her head, and when she notices me, her eyes widen in wonder. Oh, might you be today's main dish? In all my years, I've never once eaten crow, so it could make for a good experience. Not quite. Please don't say terrifying things so nonchalantly. The moment she sees me, this is the first thing she says. Reason tells me it's just a joke, but the drool dripping from the edge of her mouth is making me anxious. I came for that long-awaited interview, but if I step in the den of the beast, I might never return to tell the tale. What do? Should I obey the shiver running down my back this time? I was only kidding. Would you like to join us for lunch? I am curious about Yomu's famous cooking skills. So I'll gladly take you up on that offer. Ha, Lady Yuko doesn't mind. Please do not be too rowdy. Have you ever been told that you shouldn't believe everything you hear? These were the words that came to my mind as I watched the spectacle that was unfolding in the kitchen. It is not to your liking. No, the food's delicious. But I wouldn't exactly call it Yomu's cooking. I have never said I would be preparing Lady Yuko's lunch myself, have I? Well, that's true any way you slice it, but I think they have a specialist phantom in charge of every chore. It feels a bit surreal to see. Even if they have no physical form, they can still handle kitchen knives or pass around dishes. And skillfully, too. This is a major discovery. I have to write a full-scale report on this. You can't do that, Aya. Not until they consent to it. Momiji? Like clockwork, I looked around in shock on hearing her voice, which sounded like she was right by my side. But of course she's not here. It's just me and my hosts, who are looking at me like I'm crazy. What was that just now? Aya? You alright? Did you upset your stomach? No, I'm fine. Anyway, this is really good. Even if I can't hide the unease that suddenly gripped me, I still try to pretend to be calm, eating my meal while stewing in this awkward feeling. Somehow I can't feel my usual craving for a good story. It's not like me. Now that you mention it, she isn't with you today. Your companion. No. She said she hadn't seen Notori in a while, and she stepped out this morning. I see. It does feel like something is missing. That's right. I have come to expect you and Momiji to always show up together, no matter the time and place. But that's just being silly, isn't it? Obviously we can't be together all the time, like today. I fended off her words with a bashful grin. I was shown to various places afterwards, but in the end I couldn't get in the mood for news coverage. Phew! What's wrong with me today? And after I'd gone to all that trouble to get an interview when no one could get in my way. I still can't shake off that strange haze clouding my head. The only thing on my mind right now is Momiji. She's just gone to see that Kappa, so she couldn't be in any danger. I'm the one being weird. Damn it! Why do I feel so restless? Isn't there anyone I could just mindlessly kill time with around here? You seem to be troubled! That's definitely Iku. I've heard these words before. It can't be. I knew it. I have felt the simmering of your inner turmoil from above, and thus I have descended in all my splendor. It's been a while. As I walked on aimlessly, gripped by my strange mood, who should show up but the self-styled air-reading, problem-solving legendary fish? Iku Nagai. It seems she's been keeping up her hobby of appearing before people in need of help out of nowhere. Wait, does that mean I'm in need of help? I see. You seek someone you can speak openly with. It might do you good to make your way to the nearby Shinto shrine post-haste. The shrine? Oh, you mean Reimu's place. She does always seem to have plenty of time to waste. It might really be for the best place for idle chat. It'll probably take a bribe to get her to keep me company, so I'll have to go shopping, but it's a small price to pay. Thanks much. I'll get going right away. It was my pleasure to be of help to you. Having assuaged. That's a word I don't know how to say. Assuaged. I don't know. The worries of a tormented maiden. My work here is done. But now I sense further troubles on the wind. Farewell! She hasn't changed one bit. Before I knew it, the enigma we call Iku had already gone. She really is the same as she ever was. A weirdo to the very end. In any event, I have something to do with my time now. Let's purchase some of my favorite stuffed rice cakes and head over to the Hakude Shrine. There's Reimu. What's gotten into you? Not only did you bring a gift, it's not even for one of your beloved interviews. Let's hope hell doesn't freeze over. As you'd expect, when I told Reimu I came to hang out, she blew me off instantly. But after a few of my cakes changed hands, I was granted a seat on her veranda. That's uncalled for. Not even I can always be making a nuisance of myself. Well, it doesn't matter. It really matter to me either way. Are things better at your office now? Feels like you've been busy all the time lately. Well, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't busy, but it's no big deal. It'll only become a problem if there's an incident every day. Take that last mess, for instance. Smiling wryly, I began talking about the cases I'd tackled, how much trouble they'd all been, and so on. That sort of meaningless banter. Just hanging out with Reimu. After an hour passes us by just like that. Speaking of which, I had something on my mind for a while. You're always with Momiji lately, right? When did that come about? As soon as that topic comes up, the hazy, lonely feeling that had since faded away suddenly comes back. But thinking of how I met that girl also feels nostalgic, even though it wasn't that long ago. To tell you the truth, people keep saying that about us, but we were on pretty bad terms to begin with. What? Are you still talking about you and Momiji? Well, it's not surprising if you can't even picture it. You could say that both of us really mellowed out. It's nice to reminisce once in a while, don't you think? And since there's no one else here to hear it. Reimu says nothing, only looks at me with question marks in her eyes, while I stare up into the skies, recalling the past few years. The world might change around us, but the sky above us stays the same, no matter how much time passes. I guess it's an old story now, when I think about it. This all happened after I'd already done so much to distinguish myself as a reporter. And let's start from the beginning. Those days, the story of when I met Momiji. It was a few years ago at my house on Yokai Mountain. A partner, you said. I had the honor of receiving a surprise visit from my boss, one of the great Tengu, the kind of person you never have contact with about anything besides work. This could be any Tengu. And since that visit was about saddling me with a partner, that only made it more surprising in many ways. But please wait a minute. I've been doing good work on my own until now, so can I ask what brought this on? You remember that business with the gods who moved to the mountain from a few days ago, don't you? Back then I saw you became a bit too eager to make calls on your own, so I felt it'd be best to pair you up with someone, remind you of the value of cooperation. But no buts! It's too late to protest anyway. Your new partner has already been sent over here. You can come in. Yes! While she flinched beneath the chief's scolding, the discussion advanced without my consent. While as a mere Crow Tengu, there was never any way for me to oppose the decision made by the Great Tengu. But never mind that. My prospective partner, who'd seemingly been left waiting at the door, stepped in with an energetic shout. I'm Momiji Inubashiri of the White Wolf Tengu. It might be our first time speaking face to face like this, but I look forward to working with you, ma'am. Likewise. Yeesh, she didn't sound very relaxing to work with. I never could handle kids like her. Watching her stand at attention with an earnest stare full of motivation, that was the impression I got, but I also felt I'd seen a face like hers before. Wait, I know how it is. You can't help but act stiff when your superior is around. Having seemingly felt the unease in the air, the chief left me with Inubashiri alone to get better acquainted. For now, how about we have some tea? I'll take care of it, so please have a seat, ma'am. Oh, I keep the tea on that shelf over there so you can use whatever you feel like. Okay. Awkward. So awkward. What was all this pointless tension? It gave me stomach cramps. Inubashiri diligently worked away in my kitchen, looking every bit like one of those tea-serving automatons that were popular back in the day. Here you are, ma'am. Thanks. So, what are we going to do about this? What do you mean? I know the Great Tengu says so, but there's no reason we should really go out of our way to do things as a team, right? It sounds like a pain. But if that's what's been decided, that's how it has to be. If the higher-ups think it's a good idea, we have to do our best to make it work. Straight-laced suck-up, just like I feared. Part of me had still hoped that with the chief god, she'd say something like, I know, right? I feel the same way. That would have made everything so much easier. Back in reality, Inubashiri just kept sitting across from me in picture-perfect Seizo style, smiling politely as if to taunt me with her obstinacy. Still, it should be fine if we go home for now, right? I don't think anything will be happening today. Really? Understood. I'm usually posted behind the waterfall at Nine Heavens, so come find me if something does come up. If that's alright with you, I'll be going now. This is getting me so stressed out for nothing! Even if she won't be with me every hour of every day, having to work with this kid is gonna be just... After making sure the White Wolf Tengu was well and truly gone, I slumped down on my desk heavily. I convinced myself that there was nothing to be done. It wasn't like I prided myself on being a rebel or anything, but I couldn't ever be serious to a fault like that girl. I just didn't think I'd last a week. But no matter what I say to this point, there's no way I'll be changing the mind of that inflexible chief. Well, nothing to do but bear with it. Wringing my hands wasn't going to change anything, so I decided to just go on doing what I've always done. And with that comforting thought, I called it a day. Ma'am, I've been expecting you. Early one morning, I was patrolling around the mountain on the lookout for potential intruders, and anything that might make it for a good article, as I usually do. But this time, the Wolf Tengu from the other day, that is Momiji Inubashiri, was waiting for me in front of the waterfall. I thought I could just avoid her as much as possible and let the talk of us being partners fall through on its own, but she was surprisingly stubborn. You sound like you knew I'd be passing by. We're basically always standing by behind the waterfall, so I just decided to wait here today. I told you about it already, right? I'm a Wolf Tengu, so my nose and ears are quite sharp, and on top of it, my eyes can see 1,000 leagues ahead. 1,000 leagues? Then you can watch me even from here? Yes, for instance, I can see that while you pretend to be doing your rounds, you go around harassing passersby for interviews. Her arm cut the air with a whoosh as she pointed an accusing finger at me, and her temple twitched. What are we going to do if an intruder sneaks right past to the mountain on our watch? This isn't the time to be thinking about your stupid newspaper. What? Stupid? You think this is any way to be talking to your superior? And what's stupid about my newspaper? You might say it wasn't fair for me to pull rank over this, but she shouldn't have started a fight she couldn't win, and I don't let anyone speak ill of my pride and joy. Even though I knew I was just making a fool of myself. Once that fire was sparked, we went on yelling at each other for a while. And then... Fine. Looks like I wasn't suited to working with you from the beginning, ma'am. I'll just mind my own business. Good. I feel the same way. I'll be telling the Great Tengu as much. Goodbye. I clicked my tongue as I watched the shrinking figure of Inubashiri walk away from me with cold eyes. I had no idea why. She irritated me so much. For no reason I could discern. I watched her until she disappeared from sight, with a knot in my chest. Huh. So you fought, split up, and you've been trying to cool off ever since. What's it to you? I can think of something stranger, a shut-in like you coming all the way here. After partying with Inubashiri, I couldn't get in the mood for interviews again, and obviously doing rounds was out of the question. But when I finally made it back home, I unexpectedly found a colleague famous for being a recluse had already made herself comfortable there. Hey now, why do you have to keep calling me a shut-in? It's not like I never go outside or anything. I just like working from home better. But I guess I wouldn't be sitting around here if that Valley Kappa hadn't begged me to take a message to you. Don't act like this is nothing. You can't just trespass in somebody's house and... Hold on. You mean Notori? There was one word in her spiel that jumped out to me. And I felt myself getting antsy again as I asked her to elaborate. In response, Hatate just nodded while drinking my tea. It was the good stuff I'd splurged for the other day, too. How'd she even find it? It was about that girl you have to be partners with. Inubashiri, you said. Sounds like they're friends. Apparently she hasn't come home. Couldn't she just be sulking somewhere? She looked pretty irritated with me, too. I snatched my teapot from Hatate's clutches and poured myself a cup of my own. Phew, nothing better than tea in the moments like these, is there? But the thing is, she'd promised she'd come watch an experiment once her shift was over. And the Kappa said she wouldn't ever break a promise like that. Yes, I could believe that. A perfect honor student type like her wouldn't stand someone up like this. But then why did she? Well, it's possible I'm partly to blame here. So I'll go look for her myself. Better you than me, right? I don't know what she looks like, or where she'd be. And having to head out now would be a pain. That's all you really care about, isn't it? You turned out like this because you've been a shut-in for so long, I swear. Those were the words I kept to myself as I dully watched my colleague go out of the door with a see ya. Now, what am I actually going to do about this? I don't really know anything about that kid either. I'd only first spoken with her the other day, after all. And to make matters worse, it took us no time at all to get into a big fight. I didn't have the faintest idea where she might have gone. Seriously, what a nuisance. But sitting at home, worried about things wouldn't help. Times like these call for action. Finishing off what was left of the tea, I flew out of the house I just returned to. So from what I've been told, she was last seen here. After flying over all the Yokai Mountains, swapping intel with my fellow Crow Tengu, I ended up back near the Waterfall of Nine Heavens by a certain forest path. That had to be it. Oh, whoops. Why did she have to pick a place this dim? Skipped the line by accident again. It was covered by a dense thicket, and I had to go on foot, and with the sun setting, it was almost total darkness down there. I don't actually get night blind, so I should have been fine, but it was so overgrown I couldn't see my own feet. Just you wait, Inubashiri. Once I find you, I'll give you a piece of my mind. While thinking about what else I might do to her, I took a confident stride forward. Where's the ground? While I was daydreaming, my foot failed to find anything under the darkened shrubbery, and I plummeted into a pitch black hole. Oh, shit. Please wake up, ma'am. I felt myself slowly come to the sound of somebody calling out to me. It was so dark, opening my eyes didn't actually make any difference at first. Last I remembered, I'd gone looking for Inubashiri. You alright, ma'am? Inubashiri, the hell are you doing here? Ow! When I took a deep breath to start shutting her down, pain ran through my body. The tumble I took must have bruised me over pretty bad. Just my luck. Felt like I was good enough to walk, but flying back up the way I came from probably wasn't going to happen. Please don't overtax yourself. You had a hard fall too, ma'am. Seems like it. Inubashiri, from what you've been saying, I assume that you're injured too. Yeah, I'm sorry. My leg, especially. I can't move it at all. She wasn't lying. Apologizing in advance, I drew near to Inubashiri to take a look at her leg, and the damage seemed pretty serious. Can't she fly, though? Ugh. It's definitely dislocated, and the bone might be fractured. She couldn't walk like this, and flying would be foolish. Even if this was her only injury, she was clearly far worse off compared to me. Why would flying be foolish? It's a leg injury. If you fly, your legs don't have to touch the ground. Seriously? How did you end up dropping down this pit? I set up applying when first aid I could, figuring it would be better than nothing. While at work, I ended up voicing my astonishment to her. Inubashiri just stayed quiet for a while, but I guess the silence got to her eventually, since she started talking. My duty is to keep watching for intruders onto the mountain, warn them off, and intercept them if necessary. And I thought I smelled the scent of someone who doesn't belong in the mountain coming from this place. Congratulations on the 1cc. Do not pay such details any mind. So you followed your nose and forgot your feet. Guess so. The way her ears and tail drooped in dejection made me want to give her a hug then and there. If she was always this cute, I probably couldn't ever get angry with her. She must have wanted to prove she could do her job so badly. It was when I thought that's what I thought, so that it hit me. Ah, I see. This kid. I get so frustrated looking at her because she's so much like how I used to be in the old days. Before I was even a greenhorn reporter, in the days when I was still just a fledgling of a Crow Tengu, nothing ever seemed to work out no matter what I did, but I still kept stubbornly at it by myself. That was why the face looked so familiar. I'd seen it in the mirror so often long ago. Can birds fly with broken legs? Good question. Ma'am? Eh? Ah. Treatment's done. It should be a bit better than before. How's it feel? I was a bit taken by surprise when she called out to me. Now that I know where it stemmed from, that girl's disposition didn't seem so unpleasant somehow. Well, maybe she was even more stubborn than I ever could have been. More importantly, after having examined my handiwork, Inubashiri didn't show any signs of dissatisfaction. So let's take a moment to assess our situation. First off, it'll be hard to fly at a cramped place like this. And while I can move properly, you're injured and can't walk without help. This hole is hard to find, even if someone familiar in the mountain. For someone familiar with the mountain. It could be a few days before help gets to us here. A few days at least. That's only a guess. It could end up taking longer. So there are two courses of action we can take. Holding up a finger, I answer Momiji's question mark. Our first option is to wait here for rescue. It would be safer to stand by here rather than wandering away. Even if we were at our best, there would still be a deep dark tunnel we know nothing about. But then... Right. I expect rescue should come within a few days, but if it never does, it might be too late to make our way out by ourselves by then. We might be far stronger than humans, but that didn't make us invincible. We too would waste away if we were just left forgotten in a pit. And that brings us to our next option, trying to find a way out in spite of the risk. Still, when she heard my second proposal, Inubashiri faltered and stared at her feet. I can't move from here, so I'll have to stay. I'm not leaving you behind. If I lend you my shoulder, you should manage to walk. Eh? Inubashiri's eyes widened in surprise, like she couldn't believe I was just cooperating. But even if I was still angry with that girl, it wasn't like that I would have just left her alone there. No matter what you might think of me, I could never be so heartless as to abandon an injured comrade. My eyes work in the dark well enough, so we aren't blind, and you have to have a sharper nose than I do. Between the two of us, it should be possible to find a way out. But if you say something stupid like I'll only be a bird and so leave me behind, you'll make me mad. Bearing that in mind, what do you want to do? She seemed to be at a loss, shooting me teary glances. Even so, she recovered her presence of mind bit by bit and timidly. Let's go together. Help might just never come, and I don't like to go hungry. No one does. That's as good a reason as any. She sheepishly stretched out her hand, and I grabbed it with a wry grin. Now let's get going. If we're not staying here, there's no reason to waste any time. Here, lean on my shoulder. Okay, pardon me. Yeah, she was a lot lighter than she looked. She's still so skinny, it makes you worry for her. I propped her not so heavy weight with my shoulder. For a while now, I've been hearing the sound of rushing water from over there, and there's a smell. What do you say we go that way? Alright, it could be a waterfall or a river. If water's flowing, that means some kind of opening. Worst comes to worst, I'm sure I can carry you while flying for a bit. Shooting her my best smile, I began walking forwards, going at Inubashiri's pace the whole time. It was much slower than I'm used to. Normally I'd get annoyed by someone like that, but it didn't feel all that bad this time. We advanced through the pitch-black cave like this. After about an hour of walking, we sat down for a break. Inubashiri wiped the sweat from her brow, panting lightly. Why is this tunnel so long? It feels like we've been walking forever. I could only nod in agreement. Yokai Mountain was an active volcano a long time ago, so that might have had something to do with it. I'd also heard rumors about it being hollow inside, but I didn't think they were actually true. I see. The sound of water just keeps getting closer, so we have to be near the source now. Then we only have to hang in there a little longer. Here, let's get going. Once again, I pulled up Inubashiri and she leaned on me. At this point, we were a lot less conscious of each other. In a good way, of course. We've been walking for a bit like this when... Interrobang! Hold on, Inubashiri. Eh? After a few more steps, I peered out of what lay ahead. There definitely was something like a river at the edge of the site. However... You're kidding me. What's wrong? I answered Momiji's confusion by pointing ahead. When she saw it, she went silent too. That's a hole. A hole? Or rather, I think it qualifies as a chasm. If we're in good shape, clearing this would be nothing, but in our state it was a daunting obstacle. At first glance, it didn't seem like there was any way to just go around. I'll take a look around the edge. There might be a way to bypass it. Okay, I'll be waiting. I left Inubashiri with a nod to get started on my search of our surroundings. I take it back. This is no joke. After a few minutes, I returned to where I left Momiji, rubbing my temples. As you probably guessed, the hole ran up against the wall, both to our right and to our left. Simply put, we had to either double back or leap over. We can't afford to just wander aimlessly. Even if she'd just been sitting, Inubashiri's condition was getting worse. I could tell it'd be better not to make her walk around more than necessary. So really, the only choice was to make the jump. Ma'am, you can leave me here. I already told you not to say things like that. If you keep this up, I won't let it slide. Clearing that pit by yourself shouldn't be any problem, and then you can get out by following that river. You'll only have to send help to get me. It was clearly the wisest, most prudent course of action. Unfortunately, I was not feeling wise or prudent at the time. It's a good line. I silently grabbed hold of Inubashiri's arms. Ma'am? Your punishment has been decided on. I'll be tossing you across now, so hold still. Bro, if she lands on her bad leg, she's gonna go out Dio style. Be careful. What? She who strikes first wins. Before Inubashiri could even say anything, I hurled her to the other side of the pit with all my strength. she was lighter than she looked, she just flipped in midair and landed totally unscathed. Are you trying to kill me? How's that for a reality check? Back up from there, I'll be joining you. Now that I was done venting my frustrations, all that was left was to get a running start and take flight. Ow! Just as I was about to leap gracefully across the chasm, an ache in my ankle chose the very moment to act up and I stumbled. But of course, there's no stopping your momentum when you're about to take off, and my body still went soaring through the air. Ah, crap, I've done it now. It was obvious I wasn't going to make it to the other side. I stretched my arm out, but I grabbed nothing but air. Well, I guess I deserve that. Anyway, a drop like this one wasn't going to kill me. That girl would manage to get help on her own. These were the kinds of cheery thoughts going through my head when... Huh? My hand caught something. No, something caught me. Thanks to that, I was left dangling from the cliff's edge. And when I looked up, dumbfounded. I've got you, ma'am. Are you alright? Inubashiri. Leaning as far out as she could, that girl was desperately holding onto my arm. She pulled me up so briskly you wouldn't have believed she was injured. That was far too reckless of you. What would you have done if you got dragged in with me? I would have been okay. Don't give me that. Were you the one talking big about not leaving anyone behind just a minute ago? You really almost scared me to death. Sorry. Inubashiri's angry, tearful glare was so piercing I couldn't help but apologize. But she had a good reason to be mad after what I'd just done. A moment passed in awkward silence. Hey, look over there. Eh? Ah. The river we'd seen before was flowing downhill towards a faint light. Apparently this cave wasn't as deep as we thought. It really is just a few steps away now. Shall we go, Inubashiri? Yeah. She grabbed the hand I offered and I helped her up again. And we steadily made our way towards the light. And that's the story. After we made it out of there, we had a little heart-to-heart, and we ended up deciding to give them being a team a proper try. While I was occupied with my lengthy reminiscing, the setting sun had tinged our surroundings red. Whew, I'm not used to being the one to tell stories. The whole day passed by before I knew it. Huh, so that's how it was. That's how it was. All I get in return from Reimu was an unimpressed which forced a strained laugh out of me. If something doesn't concern her, she's not going to pretend like she cares. That jerk. But what was it in the end? The suspicious smell. I know how good Momiji's nose is, so there's no way she just made a mistake. Oh, that. We didn't find out what that was until later. But it seems like it was Cirno. Huh? What would Cirno be doing on the mountain? Actually, the river we found in that hole feeds into the Misty Lake. As it turns out, Cirno would follow it to the mountain and she'd be exploring by dredging through the tunnels without anyone noticing a thing until Momiji had the bad luck to stumble in. Of course, I made sure to give back as good as we got when I found out. Thinking back to the face she made when her playground mysteriously caved in, I can't help but smile. Momiji might be serious to a fault, but she has a cute airheaded side to her too. The other day, she'd fallen asleep, she mistook her tail for food and bit down into it, and woke herself up real good. That's a good mental image. That does sound like something she would do. Like a dog chasing her own tail, huh? Reimu nods in agreement as I chuckle, and then we go silent for a bit, and then I let out a long sigh. Phew, it's gotten pretty late, hasn't it? My old stories went on longer than I thought they would. Momiji will probably have come back by now, so you'll have to excuse me. Sure, if you ever want to talk again, I'll hear you out. As long as you bring me something for my trouble, of course. I see you're as desperate for food as ever. Well, I'll keep it in mind. See ya. While Reimu happily stuffs her face with her last rice cake, I fly off into the dusky skies. Still, she just glossed over the touching reconciliation. I wonder how it went down. As I leave Reimu behind, she mutters something to herself while gazing up into her quickly darkening sky. After bidding Reimu farewell on the way home, I alight on a cliff that overlooks the waterfall in Nine Heavens. This is a place of important memories for me and Momiji. All that reminiscing made me want to stop by. It really is just the same as it used to be, this place. That's right, nothing has changed. When did she get here? I look in surprise at Momiji as she walks up next to me like it's the most natural thing in the world. Did you miss me? I murmur with a grin before turning back to the scenery. Is Momiji thinking the exact same thing as she serenely gazes out at this waterfall? Do you remember, Aya? What I told you here? That could mean all kinds of things. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? Once I see Momiji's ears and tail droop lonesomely, I turn away and walk off with a smile on my face. Momiji seems a bit panicked at being left behind and runs after me in a hurry. Wait a minute, Aya. It goes without saying, but I'll go on being your partner for as long as you want me to be. There's no one I would rather want as my sidekick besides you. Ah. But since I couldn't give you an honest answer back then, now might be a good time to fix that. I want to sound strong here, but my voice still trembles. Even though I only want to convey a bit of my feelings, this feels terribly important. I guess this is how words you speak to someone precious to you have to feel, like they could be blown away by the wind. But I speak them all the same. No matter how much time passes, I don't think I'm going to change my ways. But if that's fine with you, will you stick by me forever? Yeah, of course. Looking over my shoulder, I reach out my hand as I finish speaking. Momiji takes it, and her expression makes the complete reversal into the light that I expected. It's a little bit embarrassing, being this upfront about my feelings, but seeing her make that face makes it all worth it. Well, I'm not so honest that I could bring myself to say something like that every day. Ah, I see. Then it's because of the kind of day-to-day it's been. Before now, I had never truly noticed how lightheartedly messing around every day with Momiji had become such an integral part of my life. The days when I felt it was simpler to just do everything on my own feel so far away now. What are you thinking about? You're beaming. Nothing at all. Now let's hurry and get back to my place. I went out and bought rice cakes for us today. The salty ones and the bean stuffed ones. Really? I'm in love. Come on, let's hurry back. I know. How long do you think we've been together? I can't bring myself to say that, so I keep it in my heart. Momiji has always run ahead anyway, so I just smile wryly like it can't be helped and chase after her. Since we can never know for sure what the future holds, sometimes you have to reflect on what's truly important. And? Ma'am, I know that you don't like me, and I don't think we can change how we are, but I still want to stay by your side, if I can. So even if it's me from tomorrow on, will you give me a chance? I still vividly remember the words of that girl who gathered her courage and took the first step towards me. It's a precious memory, one that ties us both together. And that's why I won't speak of this with anyone else. It's the one story I'll never print for as long as I live. Well, that was nice. You know, I and Momiji have a bit of a interesting relationship in canon. But as we know, it's one of those things that Frieza ignores. That was really nice. That was really sweet. I'm glad I did it. But I'm really interested in this one. A special turnabout involving both Aya and Tenchi. Tenchi being the defense attorney, and apparently Aya being the plaintiff. I wonder what happened. Who's involved? Now I have to assume that given the fact that Aiki mentioned it, I have a feeling that this case is going to involve Touhou 13 characters finally, because Kyoko showed up at the beginning, but no other Touhou 13 character showed up yet. So you know. But that is Touhou, that is Ace Attorney, Ace Attorney for the day. So next time I play this chat, I cannot promise when that will be. I will be starting a new case. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that myself. I just hope that I can start it at some point in the future. Not too far away, but also I can't start it too early, because then if I use too much time, and if too much time takes place between them, I'll forget important information. So, you know, I'll see what I can do. But there will be more. There will be more.